Hello. Group cancel. Boop. I'm gonna have
So
to start.
turn on camera, is it?
Yeah. So include camera in group output. You know what? Okay, if I click that and then
Camera is disabled. Please enable camera to access.
ding browser source. Actually no, I'm gonna put this in my core overlays. Ding plus.
Oh, so apparently I need to set up camera.
Twitch stream together. Ding dong. Does it want a particular resolution, I wonder?
I have no idea.
Oh, and I forgot to do the thingy-madiggy again.
What did you forget?
I forgot to update my my whatsamahoozy for
For your OBS. It's showing your thing like multiple times on your screen.
Give me a second. Give me a second. It will be hosting up to 5. Guest can thingy. Responsive. No, tell me the resolution. Screen share.
Nope, that's not what I want.
Is the wavelength.
I'm sharing that.
Moderators. Select mods to nameplates. Browser source. All right.
We're having some technical difficulties. We did an unplanned thing again.
Set up. All right. So we want it as group capture. In your preferred thingy-madiggy. Does it tell us like? Nope, they just leave it at like the fucking at the ridiculous 800 by 600. 1920 by 1080. There we go. And if I not include myself into the thingy-madiggy, and then
I have no idea what's going on.
I'm doing my thing. Don't you worry.
You're doing your thing.
Doing my thing. I'm gonna go to the just chatting section. So we got the Discord Fugie right here.
Go suck a lemon.
Hello.
You go suck a lemon, Furry Cures.
Yeah, Furry Cures, you suck that lemon. Suck that lemon hard.
Oh, hang on.
I refuse to elaborate.
Guest video will appear
because I don't know what I just said.
Streaming software guest audio will be pushed through your streaming software. Guests who leave are removed. Please make sure you have copied and added the browser source to your. Yep. All right. So if I click this,
see, because I don't have my thing up. That's the problem. I don't have.
Huh. Why is it?
That's why I was going to suggest using the multi-stream thing again.
We'll figure this out. Don't you worry. Core overlays. Stream Twitch.
Because my camera is disabled for some reason.
Double check if in the Twitch guest star it's saying whether or not it's enabled or disabled. Let me just.
Camera access is disabled.
Click on the padlock icon in the top left to make sure Chrome is allowed to, get to your whatsamahoozy thing.
Oh yeah, camera. Boop. Okay, I've allowed that now.
All right, cool. I'm just gonna hide it for a bit, so then that way. That way, like, if it accidentally shows like a real life face or anything like that, it won't do that on my stream either.
OBS virtual camera.
Let's see. Aren't we having fun, chat?
I selected, but it's not turning on. Oh, hang on. You're live. Say hi. Hello, everyone. Apparently I'm live, but can't see me.
Alright, what does it look like on your side? Hang on. Code the Yoshi.
I mean, I'm fine. I'm here in the chat menu.
Alright, fair enough.
Code, you suck. You suck about. How dare you?
Is that a regular thing from Furry Cures?
Nah, that also he calls me stinky. Also, hello Esteban. Yeah, we're kind of having techie issues at the moment.
Yes, techie.
We were trying to do smart things, but ended up doing dumb things instead.
Yeah. So, because that's where. Why is it?
The only thing is, though, I'm not sure where I'd sit your little screen on mine, though. Although yours would be the only one showcasing me, wouldn't it?
Right now, yeah. Okay. Where's my thingy-majiggy?
Oh, hang on. Maybe if I refresh it, might let me do it. It's being a butt.
Because I feel like it might just be missing a setting or two, and oh my goodness.
Okay, because there's the camera. It's selected, but it's not turning on.
Hang on. Turn off camera. Turn on camera.
Start camera. The host or mod has disabled your camera.
And then I turned it on again. Wait, unless... Nope.
The host or mod has disabled my camera.
Yep, and then click it on again.
The host or mod has disabled your camera.
Huh. Alright, I'm in a very desktop supporty mood. Do you mind screen sharing your desktop for me, please? Hi, Hendrix. This is how I do my job when I'm working remotely, and it's like he says whoop.
All right, let me just I'm just moving it to a spot where I can share the screen.
Radio, fair enough. We don't want to ruin the magic on anyone else's side.
Yeah, and nobody needs to see all my vast amounts of porn either.
That either. So.
Yeah. All my vast amounts of naughty bits.
I remember having like 100 gigs or something like that for some reason saved on my local hard drive.
Yeah, so see, I go to turn it on, but it's just not turning on. It keeps on saying, "You're now live."
Oh, it's OBS virtual camera. Yep, cool. And then you have to click on the main button to turn the camera on.
And I'm clicking on it, but then of course it doesn't turn on here.
Click on the padlock in the top left in the address bar. Camera is allowed. Microphone is allowed. Strange. And OBS is saying that the virtual camera is running right now for you?
How do I check that? I mean...
head over to OBS. Hit start virtual camera.
Oh.
Now let's see what happens when... So...
There we are! Why is it reverse?
Because it's reversed for you, as far as I know. Give me a second. So now that you're presenting that, and boop, and it's the right side. It's the right side for me. Look, there they are. Actually, this is a great opportunity because what it means is I can now adjust where it sits in the core overlay. So I will put him here-ish.
Note this will only be on Grant's stream, not on mine. So if you guys want to check out, what Grant's doing along with what I'm doing, go over and check out Grant. Otherwise, if you want to come and check me out, come and check me out.
Yeah, so you'll be able to reach Code or I because via Stream Together, if you click on it, it should give you a list of names on who's streaming together, and that way you can get to them and check out their chat. Or you can click on our names within the title thingy-majiggy. All right, we can stop streaming the thingy-majiggy in
oh yeah, because that's
Discord.
gonna really slow me down otherwise.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, let me know. And stop streaming that.
Do you want to give it a try?
Hello, Nerds guy.
I'm trying
he came over to my side.
I wonder what it would be like if we used Twitch's voice thing, if it will be just as good.
For
like communication and such. So hang on a second. I'm gonna deafen and mute myself on the Discord, and then unmute and unmute my audio and turn on the mic on my side of this Twitch stream together. Give me a second. You ready?
Okay. Should I be muting my audio from here? Because I mean that was not.
No, because then they can hear me once I turn it off in the Discord. So if I go boop, and then I go bam, and then bong. Alrighty. Can you hear me, Code? I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. Double check that your microphone is, switched on, so it doesn't have, like, the white thing, and it's set to your correct, microphone. Oh, That would probably do it. Hang on. All right, say something. Yay! Well, what if? Hang on. Oh, really? Oh, because you need the browser source. Okay. Alrighty then. Never mind. I'll turn off the audio on the Twitch thing and unmute myself on the Discord. Here we go.
Turn off mic here.
And then it's just like boom, 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 and then I can just go. All right. So, yeah, I think the stream together is kind of cool if it's a case of like someone, like if for example I'm playing Fortnite or something like that, and someone else is playing Fortnite, and we like separate from the teams or what have you, then we can turn on the stream together nonsense. But
yeah,
kind of cool.
I think it could be good. I also really still like the multi-stream that we used to do as well, because that was so much easier to set up.
That was very quick, but like the issue with the multi-stream then is if you wanted them to do like both, it was like they had to go to that site, so it was more of an embedded link, which I think Twitch is gonna try and do a little more crackdown on. Whereas with this one, with the stream together, it would be nice if it was more of a browser thing rather than me put in like the thing like in the screen here. Actually, what happens if I move over here? Is my sources set to the PC capture? Yes, it is. And then if I... Hello? There we go. And then...
Oh, look, now you can drop it down to me.
Yeah, and there you are. So, you're about... So, I think it's like a decent size.
Oh, and I might be organizing a Vol Redeem soon, just for anyone who's wondering.
You mentioned this. I remember this conversation.
I spoke to Grant a little while about this. We might have figured out how to get it to work. We've just got to implement it.
Yeah.
Oh, and talking about the one chip challenge thing that you were talking about before. So Grant was mentioning that he's trying to get the one chip challenge or something like that for his
charity stream.
For his charity stream, and he was like, he said to me, "Hey, have you done the one chip challenge before?" I said to him, "No, but I've done something similar." And I basically said, "Look, I'll tell you in a minute, but TLDR, don't eat an Italian woman's pizza." So I believe I may have told this story once before, but so my father's partner is Italian, and she has what's called essentially her once a month pizza. We'll just call it that, Oh. And because she's Italian, she loves to have that flavor in the pizza. Like it has to be, it has to have that flavor and all that. And she's big into spices.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like, I was visiting my father and all that, and my family and extended family and everything. And we were arriving really late at night off the bus. I'm like, I'm hungry. Is there anything to eat? Nan goes, "There's pizza in the fridge, but you probably don't want it." I'm like, "Why is that?" She goes, "It's Tessa's pizza." I'm like, I'm sure it's. She says, it's a little bit spicy. I'm like, I'm sure it's fine. I get the pizza out. I take a bit of a sniff. I'm like, yeah, it seems fine to me. I take one bite of the pizza, and I'm downing 2 liters of milk.
I was thinking of something completely different when you were... What?
Yeah. What?
Just so lost is all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Damn, what kind of pizza was it? It was a really spicy pizza. I forgot exactly what was on it. But she loves that spice. She's really into like spicy foods and stuff like that. So it was one of those things. It's like it was so spicy. It was like my tongue was just. It was swollen and red afterwards for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've made a mistake.
Spicy like Baldock noodles. Maybe I've never really had those, so I would have no idea.
I've heard of those. I've heard of those what's-a-mahoozy noodles.
I've never heard. It's the first time hearing of these noodles.
So, I think I'm thinking of the right one. It's sort of like an instant pack, but it is a very, very strong thingamadiggy of noodles.
Esteban, I love those noodles. The ×2 ones are extremely spicy. Ooh. I don't mind a little bit of spicy food. Like, I'm the type of guy that normally gets, like, the Zinger box when we go to KFC or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I can handle, like, really, really extreme spices.
I reckon I'm kind of okay with spices. Especially whenever people give me, like, they'll do this thing where they're like, oh, try this out. And it's like, they'll throw me, like, something that's been, like, laced with Carolina Reaper juices or some nonsense like that. And it's like, I kind of handle it well for a little bit. You go suck a lemon. And, where's my brain at?
Where's your brain at?
So I think I handle it, like, pretty well, all things considered. But I'll still need the milk afterwards.
My father is devastating when it comes to spicy things.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's compressed his spine at one point, way back when. Some of his taste buds are dead because of it. Like his spine won't reciprocate the flavors to his brain and all that sort of stuff.
Uh-huh.
My father can down an entire ghost pepper one go.
Sounds ridiculous.
Without feeling it.
Oh,
and he'll even chew.
Order before.
Like, we were sitting there at a pub, and they had this, they had a challenge to eat one. You got, like, I think it was like $100 and a few free drinks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Dad's just like, just give it here. He's like, oh. And there it's gone, and everyone in the bar's waiting for him to get the milk that's just within reach. And he goes for like 5 minutes with nothing, and everyone's just sitting there just like, what? Even the guy was withholding the 100 for a few minutes just in case, like, I don't know what to do here.
I wouldn't know what to do in that scenario either.
It is over where I am concerned. It is through
also, hello,
conflict,
hello,
yet I do
Hendrix.
not
Hello,
recommend
Esteban.
Shad. The next
Hello, nice
resolution
guy.
may
How y'all
not
doing?
end in her favor.
All right, we need a rest. I'm nearly dead. You're nearly dead.
I think we got a little brutalized back then. Also, I got a new fire spell from my level up.
Oh,
now I have
nice.
Wall of Fire.
Nice. I still need to go through my level up for monk going to 7. Let's see.
I also had to level up Shadow Heart too. I need to really
key. Your ability
for a good build for her.
Alright. Your ability lets you dodge out of the way of certain spells. When a spell or effect would deal half damage on a successful dexterity. Yeah, it deals no damage.
Not bad.
That's if I can pass the that's if I can pass on dexterity saving throws for like spells and such. If I fail them, then it's half damage. So, if you are charmed or frightened,
I learned something interesting. The way, so the monk Way of the Four Elements, many of its spells are just simply sorcery spells, just given new names.
That's silly. All right, are we ready to rest?
Yep, I'm ready. So hopefully next week I should have some updates to my models soon.
That would be nice. That would be good. Yeah, because you haven't yet done the hands thing yet, have you?
No. So we were waiting because we're hopefully going to test it out in VR chat soon.
Ah, okay.
For anyone who wants to see Esteban's stuff, I have linked it in our in my Discord, so go check that out. Furry advertisement in my Discord. It's !Discord. You guys can check out Esteban's stuff. He does drawing on Pictaro as well as on his own Discord. Everything there is found within mine, so you can go and have a look and go and say hello to him.
Nice. Alrighty.
Right, what was our next?
We needed to infiltrate the moon tower.
Yep, and I think one of the areas we need to go to before that is a tavern area where we can find Halson and everyone we need for that.
I think that's Act 2 sort of area.
The way you haul me out, I'm gonna have to bully your Yoshi. I mean, you know, you can.
Alright.
But just be careful, though. I might ooh-woo.
Alright. Missive from Duke Ravengard is to be delivered unharmed, or mostly so, immediately. Moonrise Tower cannot fulfill its destiny until the Duke has been delivered. Those who succeed will be rewarded. Those who fail will face my wrath, then Gortash's, then mine again.
The Absolute's forces have taken Duke Ravengard to Moonrise Towers.
Ooh, plate armor. I am going to send that to Lae'zel.
Powerful asset.
They've taken the Duke to Isengard.
Alright, so...
Oh, I got some plate armor here, too.
Nice.
It's heavy armor, though, so I don't think any of my guys can really use it.
Alright, well, Lae'zel can at least wear this one, so she gets a DC...
Ah, crap.
She gets a DC 18.
Well, that ends
Oh, you're over encumbered?
as bad as it could have.
Yeah, I'm over cucumbered.
Need to find another.
Alright, maybe we need to have a look at what we need to...
Nope. Don't worry, I gave it to Shadow Farts.
I'm gonna send some of this stuff to camp. I'm not needing it right this second. I'm probably not going to sell it.
Oh, there's a bridge and everything down over here.
Oh, bridge over where you are?
Yeah, it looks like it sort of goes back around to that area where you've got the bridge, no bridge there.
Okay. Send to camp. Amulet of branding.
I don't even know if we can... Oh, yeah, we can jump that. But I mean, just
No,
down
we
the other
can't.
side
There's,
over
like-
here.
I just did the... Like, it doesn't let us go that far. I think it's because the tree is in the way.
Oh, yeah, so I guess we'll have to go down this way.
Yeah. Alrighty.
But in all serious, that's real kind of you. You gotta doodle your Yosh when I have some time. I would be honored for you to doodle my Yosh. That sounded dirty, the way that came out.
Just a bit.
Walk in the way of dawn, for Lathander cannot protect you where the light doth not reach.
Oh, I think that's gonna be dealing with some of the dark stuff.
Okay.
Do we have torches? I've got light spells.
I got a torch.
I've got a few light spells. I've got dancing light as well as light itself.
Do not walk in darkness. Turn to the light.
My skills were just fine to begin with. You can save the compliments.
I can only add light to one item.
I don't pay compliments.
Sorry, I just had
make
to...
observations.
What's with the campfire? Oh, you can just light up the campfire. Okay, cool.
An animal carcass?
Do not enter.
Do not enter. You can't tell me what to do.
Oh, this is... Oh, I can't get
Hendrix,
to
don't take my shirt.
I...
How are you gonna go and take Grant's shirt to match?
No, you don't have to take my shirt. That has already been done by Whatsamahoozy, by Furry Cures earlier.
Okay, so we're going to a different region again.
Yeah. We're going to a different region.
Are we in Act 2 now? Oh, we're here.
Oh. I guess we're going to bed again.
Why for art thou are we here?
I don't know.
And now my belly is on top of Grant's face.
No! Alright, go to bed.
Oh, something's happening.
Oh!
Holy shit!
Why the fuck is he... Oh my god.
Supreme Kithrak. Has Vlakith sent you to slay me with your own blade?
I've not come to kill you, Lae'zel. I've come to aid you.
What?
Don't trust him.
Yeah, that would be what I would say.
Skakek Kir Gith Shabeleth. My blade rests. Mother Gith compels you to listen.
I'm gonna nod to Lae'zel.
Speak. My ear is
Because...
yours.
I know you carry the astral prism, Lae'zel. Within it lies the seed of Vlakith's demise, and I intend to help you bring it to fruition.
Vlakith's demise. Skaketh. I should run you through for suggesting it.
Are you talking about the person inside? Do you know
If they have
who it
not
is?
said, they must have good reason, and I won't be the one to betray them. But the one inside's chosen you as an ally, protects you with their power.
Okay.
That very power will be the end of Vlakith's tyranny. The Prism's tenant must be let loose. I've sought their freedom for eons. When the Prism went missing, I feared the worst. Instead, you've granted the opportunity I've so long awaited.
What I
All
want to
that
know
remains
is actually
is
what I
the
want to
key
know is
that
would
unchains
be
them.
interesting. Would any
And
of
I've
this
found
actually
someone
sort of
who I
lead
believe can provide
into
it.
like canon?
Bring the Prism to Baldur's
Um,
Gate. I'll be waiting in a tap room called Shares's Caress.
Like
That is
events.
where we decide.
Oh,
the fate
like
of
the
my
canon
D&D world?
D&D. Well,
Yeah.
all of these guys are from like the Descent to Avernus or something like that, because they mention
no longer.
like the.
I am no slave, just still Kithrak. The Undying Queen is my,
Oh my
freedom.
God, Lae'zel.
She who will purify me, and she who will ascend me.
Lies, Lae'zel. Every last one. There is no purification, no ascension.
Oh, God damn it.
The Zaith Isk does not purify, it extracts memory and kills the infected. Nor does the Lich Queen glorify the ascended. She feeds on most all of them to grow her power and pursue godhood.
Madness.
Damn.
You flood me with this heresy.
Okay, Lae'zel,
I will
calm.
hear no more of it.
Okay.
He-
As you were saying.
So yeah, so for example, the all the tieflings that we met back at the refugee camp, /the Grove, they were all from a city that got like, you know, sent to Avernus or something like that. That happened in the D&D books, like one of the adventures. So this technically is within the lore and such like that. Hence why Minsk is like from Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 gets mentioned in all the different stuff. I'm not, so it'll be interesting how much of this stuff will transition later on, because I'm pretty sure at least in D&D, for instance, every single one of the companions have been referenced in the Magic the Gathering D&D crossover.
Yeah, and I know a lot of that had canon elements into it too, even the D&D crossovers.
Yes, Lae'zel and so many people approve of me pulling that shit off.
Nice.
I served Vlakith the whole of my life. Learned her words, fought her battles, yet she names me her Sharlak. Your words carry truth. I will meet you in Baldur's Gate. Do not make me regret it.
Yay, we might have gotten her out of the cult.
Are we actually seeing a proper side to her now?
Well, we've always seen a side to her. It's just,
Lae'zel,
it's unfortunately been a case of,
Magir in you, sister in freedom.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Together
She's
we
just
will
been
be
like
our
very,
people's light.
like drinking the Kool-Aid nonsense.
Take this.
Yeah,
You're
she very
sucking
It
much.
is a Quanith. A
You go
psionic
suck a lemon.
detector. The Queen's warriors hunt you. The Quanith will sound you out when you come near their portals. Hear its cry and prepare for battle, or slip away.
I mean, we're gonna fight them.
I should go.
We are going to fight
Like
them.
its gaze pierces the
It gives
seas
us
and
XP.
skies. She believes me loyal, and I can't afford her mistrust. Keep the astral prism close. Let no one take it from you. Slay any who try. Now to Baldur's Gate. I'll be waiting, Lae'zel.
I still don't rightly trust him though.
Well, he hasn't killed us, and it looks like he can just planes walk wherever the fuck he wants, so... I'm not about to... What's the word? I'm not about to, like, you know, think of him as much of a dick as, Vlakith was.
Looks like Lae'zel wants to say something to you.
Makes sense. I mean, we just had her, like, learn from her cult leaders that, oh, hey, the god that we follow, you know, kills us anyway and doesn't give a shit about you, only
Don't make
your
me send you
resources.
to Jesus myself.
Vlakith
So stop drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Only in Vlakith may we find light. These were the first words I ever read on Tirsu's slate.
Oh.
But they are no mere aphorism. They are law. They are creed. The root from which the 10,000 protocols stem. Forsake one
10,000?
protocol and forsake Vlakith.
To be fair, we have about as that
Forsake
many
Vlakith
laws.
And be the blood
So
and
she probably
meat
hasn't
which
read all of
sates
it.
her dragons. If Voss speaks true, if Ascension is a lie, if tadpole purification is a fairy tale, then I have not sinned against Vlakith. She has sinned against me. Ascension is a young Githyanki's greatest honor. Long ago, the Geich enslaved my people. They dominated our minds and bred us for war, until Great Mother Gith took a hammer to our bonds. From the day of our hatching, young
Bonds.
Gith have one purpose: to train hard enough to slay a Geich and take its head. Then, we speak the rite of ascension, and a red dragon comes to fly us to Vlakith in Tunarath, City of Death. We are honored with an eternal home in the astral, celebrated for our victory. We are ascended. Or so I believed.
Yeah. My first question is, what if people wanted to leave the app? Like, because this sounds sort of like the whole, oh yeah, you go to a higher echelon of heaven and, 72 virgins and all this kind of nonsense. And it's like, my first question is, what if you wanted to leave? Especially in this D&D, because like heaven and hell in the D&D format is less of like this, oh, it's a symbolic sort of place that you can't really get to in like a more physical sense. Whereas in D&D, it's more of a, yeah, you can use a red dragon and get there yourself. Number one, why does no one leave? Someone is going to leave. It is exactly why tyrants decide to, do colonizing, because they thought, oh, my home isn't as great as that other person's home. Let's check it out and keep it for ourselves. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, don't question it too much.
Who is the one in the
I
prism,
don't
do you
know.
think?
I can't know, and that drives me mad. At first, I thought them an illithid deception, a trick of the tadpole. But the dream figure is real. It lives in the prism. Voss believes they are the seed of Vlakith's demise and the agent of Githyanki freedom. And I believe he may be right.
Yeah, I've still got two ideas for that. They're either a Githyanki god of some kind, or they're an illithid emperor. Those are my two guesses.
They could also be a fucking dragon, because dragons can just transform whenever the fuck they want.
True. Dragons can take on a human shape.
Voss called Vlakith a tyrant. Does this mean you agree?
I'd never thought Vlakith a tyrant, or me as a vassal. She was the source of my might, and I the envoy of her will. A warrior, a champion, a destroyer. But if Voss is right, and Vlakith consumes the Ascended to gain power, then I am no destroyer. I am mere livestock, bred to be harvested and devoured. Every Githyanki is a slave with a singular purpose. Not to cull the Geich, not to prevent their grand design, but to raise Vlakith to true godhood.
But what would she do when she achieves true godhood?
I don't know if we get an answer for that besides she would just wipe out all illithid and stop the grand design full stop.
Yeah, but then what would she do after that? Where would she turn her attention to?
No one really knows. Like, I remember Doctor Who had like a thing where it was just sort of like, whenever people have this whole like, fighting for like war to win and get stuff, it's like, let's paint me a picture. It's like, who's will there be dances in the street? Will people be playing violins? Who'll make the violins and all this kind of stuff? It's mostly a case of whenever people are obsessed with war and feel like war is the solution to, because, you know, subjugation and conflict has been how they've been brought up and into the world, then it's really difficult, unless they've had like someone not part of that system like, you know, be with them and such like that and teach them more ways. It's very difficult for them to, you know, come up with new solutions outside of war and conflict. So
Then, when the Kithraki come for me, and come they will, I will submit to their blades. They would feed me to their dragons, and I would deserve no better.
sweet Jesus, she's still crazy.
Kinky.
Let's move on.
Yes. I'd like time to think. We'll meet Kithrak Voss at Chares's Caress in Baldur's Gate. Until then, be vigilant. Vlaakith's eyes are upon us.
Great. Means I can't take a shower in peace.
Nice. Alright, wait for me in camp.
You believe you can survive without me?
Oh, you're gonna get Karlak now?
Yep. I'm not arguing.
As
Remain
you
here.
say.
Because we found the Kretch, we did her quest line. We don't have to deal with her again until Baldur's Gate, or when we think there's another thingamadoog. So I'm gonna go get my girl.
Oh, I think we need to rest because all the characters are gone.
Okay, we'll rest. I love how you're just going like a fucking topless like bear, and I'm just sort of like, I need my beauty sleep in the highest quality of silk. Karlach!
So we're going to meet Voss in the city, are we? Set the
He's
tenant
all like,
of the
mommy,
prison free?
mommy,
This
I
is
mean,
all very,
mommy,
uh,
I mean,
Mommy.
mommy.
I don't know. I like it.
Actually, hang on a sec. There's something I need to give to Astarion. There's something I want to give to Astarion, and I'm curious whether it will suit him.
Lae'zel's going to war with Vlaakith? Going to break her chains in Baldur's Gate?
Why does he make it sound like when he says break her chains in Baldur's Gate, it sounds like he's going, pop her cherry.
Darling, I thought you'd never ask. Lead on.
The guy that's played Astarion's actually been getting some really high praise lately. He's won a few awards.
Yeah, so the Golden Joystick Awards happened in the UK, I think, or something like that. He got a reward for his best supporting role for Astarion. The Game Awards have released who their nominations are and such like that. Alan Wake 2 and what's-a-mahoozies, Brain, come on, think, and so Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3, they have both they're tied with 8 nominations each.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, what was your plan with him? You were gonna do were you gonna do a fighter thing, or?
Yeah. Hang on. What level is he?
So he's going up to level 7, so he can go up to level 4 with the fighter, which gives him a feat and a increase in health, or level 4. So it's either level 4 with the fighter or level 4 with the
So what's he currently level in each one?
He's level 3 in each one.
All right. So we want level 4 in fighter.
It gives him 1 additional HP.
And we want to take the dual wielder feat.
Dual wielder. You can use two-handed fighting even if your weapons aren't light, and you gain a +1 bonus to armor class while wielding a melee weapon in each hand. You cannot dual wield heavy. You know what? That's fine, because I'm giving him a short sword, so... Cool. You gain... Alright. Dual wielder.
So we only want to do fighter up to level 5 to him.
Alright, fair enough.
And then we do rogue for the last few levels.
Alright, so he's got the Saucer Dagger, which is silencing targets on hits, which I think is what we want for him. He could... So, because I was thinking of giving him Knife of the Undermountain King, Organ Rearranger. It reduces the number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking by 1. This effect can stack. When you roll 2 damage or less, re-roll the dice, taking the highest roll. And then The second bit is Shadow Blade. You have advantage on attack rolls against lightly or heavily obscured targets when using this blade, and it's a weapon enhancement too.
That's not bad.
I think this is honestly a good one to give him. It changes his main hand, so going from a scimitar to a short sword. So instead of doing slashing, he does piercing. So, and we could put the Knife of the Undermountain into... I want 1d4 plus 4, 1d6 plus 3. Okay, you know what? We're gonna replace the Saucer Dagger with the Knight of the Undermountain. I think that would be a better option. So, because of the dual wielding thing. And yep, he should get the +1 for the bonus armor. We can give him an Amulet of the Branding, which will give him Brand the Weak. Expose the weak points of an enemy. They become vulnerable to bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage. It takes a long rest.
I mean, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. And then I'm currently wearing the invisibility ring, but we could give it to him instead. I feel like he'd benefit from it because, you know, rogue.
Yeah, being able to be all sneaky beaky.
Lol, he has a higher approval with you than he does with me.
I mean, that's because I let him. That's because I let him bite me where he wanted.
won't stop me yet.
Daddy.
All right, talk. I need to.
Yes.
I gave him what I want. I gave him what I thought was
No worries, Esteban. You have a good night.
Oh, night. So, all right.
Hey,
Hey, come on, we're heading out.
Places.
Nice. She levels up as well. Level 7 barbarian now. She gains a class feature called Feral Instinct. She gains +3 to initiative and can't be surprised. And we can change her bestial heart if we want. I want to give her... I want to keep her using Bear Heart. An opportunity against you, and you can use Dash as a bonus. Oh, maybe Eagle might be better. Ooh, maybe... damn, there's some good ones to go with.
I was gonna say, Grant. I was gonna say, if you hate my normal clothes when we're in camp, I could always sleep like this.
I can't... Hang on, I can't see... I have to go to your stream to see it. Because actually, wait, no, hang on. I can zoom in here. Oh, no! That's not even... That's not... You can't be serious. That is not sleeping attire.
I mean, depending on what your version of sleeping attire is.
That's not sleeping attire.
Fine, I'll put my clothes back on.
Alright,
For now.
Relentless ferocity and have resistance to all damage except psychic. No, I'm gonna keep her to bear. Alrighty.
Better be cautious.
Gain an additional level 1 spell
What's the
slot,
story?
replaces the effect from other elixirs when drawn. Okay. I need that. Poison resistance. Vigilance. Alright, let me know when you're ready.
1d12, 1d10.
Let me see if I've got anything for Karlak in my chesties.
So yeah, because I can see... I'm going to give her Executioner's Axe for now. So if you can do better than, like a D... So it's like 4 to 15. And then she's got a 1d6 conditional for plants, insects, or small creatures.
No, I've really got nothing that'd be useful for her. I've got an Assassin's Touch dagger.
Nah, that's not her. That's not her thing. And then she's got
No.
cold damage stuff. With Woad Shield, send that to camp. A Sword of Justice. I'll keep that on her just in case. A versatile Warhammer. Another versatile Warhammer. after or landing a critical blow. And then that's Skybreaker with a Searing Smite. Alright, I'll send this one to camp. And keep a bottle of water and the... What did we just do?
Oh, crap. I left camp thinking, forgetting that...
That's okay. What is my... Oh, hi there, pigs! It says, yes, they're natural. It's a pair of D20s. Because natural 20 is like a, you know, is a critical success. So normally if you
can't see that on my screen if you're looking over at me, but if you're looking over at Grant, then yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
It is fucking dead. Oh, of course.
It's no ordinary darkness. It feels powerful and familiar. Stay on your guard.
Oh, it's...
Are you the true soul?
Who wants to know?
I'll take that as a yes. Listen up. Grab a torch, stay out of the dark, and move fast. The shadows have eyes. Go on.
Alrighty.
I think if we went up through the Underdark... Okay, so I've got light on me, so... And I think Shadowheart can also cast light. Let me have a look.
How much farther can I go?
No. Don't run too far ahead,
It's
Grant.
not that dark right now. We're fine.
Just in case.
Okay, maybe that little thingy-majiggy is an indicator of when it gets too dark.
I can feel the shadow's power here, but they don't seem to be harming me.
Hang on.
A Daughter of
The Shadow
Darkness.
It doesn't seem to affect me like it does others. Not as badly, at least. Do you know what this means? I must be blessed. Lady Shah is protecting me where
It's
others
hard
are
to
left
take her
face
seriously
wrath.
while she's wearing that mask.
She loves me.
We're going to need to edit her
She must do.
her headgear so that it's not on any time.
Yeah.
You're resourceful. You'll find a way. Don't give me that look. It's a good thing that I'm resistant to the shadows. This way I can help you.
Okay, she couldn't have tell how I looked with just me being like...
Lady Shah wouldn't bless me like this for no reason. There must be something she wants of me. Those signs we found about Dark Justiciars, perhaps they were no coincidence. In either case, I need to watch for any place dedicated to Lady Shah. A temple, perhaps.
Let me quickly just... How do I remove her?
We can talk later.
Ah. There we go. Also, she still has something to say, apparently.
This place. There's a power in these shadows. I can sense it. It's ancient. Everything, potentially. There is scarcely a greater way to fully dedicate
This
yourself
is
to Lady
this is my
Shah,
D&D night.
save perhaps if you become the head of her church. To become a Dark Justiciar is to become the Night Singer's sword arm. Her implement with which
This is how I do my D&D night, is instead of playing like actual tabletop Dungeons and Dragons, I just play video games with friends that is similar to D&D.
I prayed it was my calling. But Mother forbid me from seeking to prove myself worthy of the rank. She said I was not ready.
What?
Not my mother, I should add. The Mother Superior.
Oh.
Head of Lady Shah's enclave in Baldur's Gate. Sometimes I wonder if she would ever deem me ready. I owe her everything, and I only wish to serve, yet she can prove inscrutable.
I just realized I don't think we have a companion that doesn't have either tattoos or scarring or like a mark to them.
True.
Like Lae'zel is just covered. She's just covered in cuts and scars. Shar, I just realized, has one like sort of around their eye nearly. Karlach has a fucking infernal engine inside her, so that's just trauma to the extreme.
You know, he has scars. So it looks like there's a little tower over here.
Those who die in the shadows are cursed to remain there forever. These undead have reduced hit points and strength, are resistant to necrotic damage, and can't use spells or actions. Okay. There's a card over here.
Something's wrong.
Oh.
I feel weak.
Did you see it?
Drained.
I just wanted to go over to the cart.
So cold.
So I'll go.
Don't go too far without me.
Yep, okay. Here.
By the way, we might want to end turn-based mode.
Yep, okay.
Just stay close to me, okay?
Alright, then. I want to go to... How do we do the pinging? Alt right hit click. Oh, dancing lights. That helps.
This beast didn't go down without a fight.
Thank goodness we can all pass the investigation. Oh! It's a tiefling's journal charting the journey from El Turel to the Emerald Enclave and now on the road to Baldur's Gate. The ox just up and died. It started choking out of nowhere, then keeled over. We tried to pull the cart, but that ox knocked the wheel off when it went down, and the thing is in splinters. The others want to grab what we can and keep going, but this place feels wrong. My skin is crawling, like something is watching us. What are you doing in the background?
Picking a lock.
You don't have the dexterity for it.
Bitch, I don't.
Okay, fine. Elegus. Was that someone we know?
Rings a bell.
Sent to camp. Sent to camp. Really, nothing else to them. Another torch as well.
I would probably keep one of those torches on you.
Okay, let's go here. Wait, is it Alt and right mouse button?
Yeah, I saw where you pinged.
Okay,
Over
cool.
here wasn't it? Don't go too far from me unless you've got a torch.
Okay, fine. Hang on. Don't, and then... A backpack.
My light only goes so far.
Get to Baldur's Gate. Druidic style of what appears to be hidden routes out of the Emerald Arcade. The location is marked as Baldur's Gate. Take only what you can carry. Go through the mountain pass. If anyone falls, leave them. You can't afford to be slowed down by excess baggage. Why are you running away from me?
I found a chest, plus you had a torch.
A pile of belongings, forsaken to the curse, so that their owners could escape with their lives.
Okay,
I believe that you wouldn't do anything stupid while I was, walked away.
Alrighty, hang on. Well, you walked away, so now I have to walk to you.
Looks like there's some cultists right over there.
Alrighty.
So I say we go up and around. Let's go up and around. Back up this way.
Oh my... Oh, don't split up from the party.
Well, now you have a torch, so I don't have to worry about you.
Black oleander. There we go.
I mean, like I said, I can only protect you with my light for so long. I know you have to use your own brain and do something.
I am using my own brain to do things.
I'll let you go ahead so you can activate the...
Thank you. Hyena and a person named Kansif.
Hey, boy. You want the bone? Fetch!
Wait, have we seen Granag?
Rings a bell.
Like, he looks familiar.
You see that blighter go? Swallowed whole by the shadow curse. Bet he was pure tasty.
Oh,
You're the true soul we're taking to Moonrise, I'm guessing.
How do you plan on getting me through this cursed darkness?
Don't worry, boss, you're in good hands. We've got a guide. Talk to Kansif inside. He'll run through it.
I don't think we want to go with these guys.
One last thing. Go and fetch the bone you threw.
Wait, you're joking, yeah? But we're ready to go. You just need to tell Kansif inside.
Damn, I thought he was gonna... Just poking a bit of fun.
Of course.
I'm not gonna use the illithid powers just to force a goblin to get a bone. That'd be a waste.
Get going,
So it's that guy.
Is it Kansif?
Yep.
True soul. An honor. Did you bring the lyre? We were told
Lyre?
to expect a true soul. That Night Warden Minthara would send someone with her lyre to summon a guide through the darkness. If the Night Warden did not send you, who did?
I've got
What are
the
you
lyre
doing
of
here?
spiders, if that's what he's talking about.
Did you get that off Minthara?
I have no idea. All I know is I've been carrying it for the last few days.
I fear neither of us are traveling then. The darkness here is murderous. The only safe way through is with a guide. Of course, you are free to take your chances if you wish. But I will be waiting here for the Night Warden's lyre.
Where can I find this?
Minthara always carried it on her
I
person.
think I've got it in my
I
camp
assume she still
supplies.
does.
Unless someone swiped it.
Wait here,
It's the
I'll
absolute wills.
return.
We'll wait.
Also, I need to go for a bathroom break, and there's going to be an advertisement running in the next minute or two, and it's going to go on for 3 minutes. I'm sorry to say. Are you going to have an advertisement in the next bit?
More than likely, if yours is happening soon.
Well, mine's going off like 3 minutes once an hour.
Yeah, mine's going 3 minutes once an hour as well.
And you ain't?
Alrighty. I am gonna... Hang on. Bathroom break.
Yeah, I've got the
BRB.
spider's lyre. I'm not sure if that's the thing we need, though.
Maybe.
Oh!
It looks like it is. Alright, I am going to go to the bathroom, and also make sure I have a fresh, like, super chilled bottle of water. Be right
I
back.
seek to reach a Githyanki Creche and be rid of these tadpoles.
Why are you talking with her?
Now we stalk forgotten lands, haunt...
I don't know, I wanted to talk to her.
Okay. You go talk to her, then. Entertain the chat.
I got faith.
Entertainer, entertainer, entertainer. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's pretty much all I got. I mean, you want more than that. You gotta pay me. I mean, come on.
Because I ain't a little coward.
If your
Yeah.
best friend was made of
No.
your favorite cake,
Me neither.
would you eat them?
Yes.
What's your best friend's favorite cake?
I don't know. What's your favorite cake?
Wait, what?
Well, you're a bestie. What's your favorite cake?
What about Jason?
Anyone else pops out unannounced, I'll feed them an arrow.
I'd probably eat it. Also, is it funny? Is it funny for me that Grant is probably yelling from his bathroom right now at us?
What was that?
What was what?
Nothing. Just the dark.
Oh, there's Halson. Halson, Daddy!
What?
Oh, that freak best be ready to guide us with
I
his
found
tongue.
Halson. Daddy, 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 daddy.
There's a fly on my... Hang on a second.
Stay here then. See if you like the
Damn it.
shadows.
You wish to speak?
Do not start speaking with him. The advertisement hasn't finished yet. Hi, Jason. So, Jason, would you consider yourself... Would you think Code would consider you his best friend?
I said one of.
You
I
can't...
have very many best friends.
No, you can't have multiple Okay, let me zoom out for this one. You can't have multiple best friends.
You can have multiple best
The
friends.
point of a best friend is they're the best friend. Like,
Yeah,
there
and
should...
there's the best of the best friends.
But
You can have more than one best friend. End of story.
no, I don't believe. That feels like it feels cheap, because then if you have multiple best friends, then that's just sort of cheapening the value of being someone's best friend.
No.
I think so.
I don't think so. I think you're being
more
quake.
than one best friend? No. So I'm gonna do a poll. Only.
No. Yes. I don't know.
Only
Potatoes.
the best get. Only the best. Yes. More BFs. I'm gonna have that run in the background for like 10 minutes. We're out of advertisement now, so you can now talk to your daddy Halson.
Daddy!
We're in the middle of a shadow curse now. Is there any more you can tell me about how to lift it?
This land is more than just soil and rock, root and leaf. It is a living being, in the form of a young fey boy, with the forest itself in his eyes. His name is Thaniel. I've met him in my meditations, but since the curse was unleashed, I have not felt his presence. He is its prisoner, I fear. And as long as he remains so, his domain will lie in darkness. But if we can find him, we can break the curse. If you learn anything of the Shadowfell, or of a boy with the forest in his eyes, find me at once.
Okay.
I can't be exact, unfortunately. Time and the Shadow Curse won't have been kind to any traces that would have been left behind. A living witness is unlikely, I'll admit. But perhaps there'll be an unliving witness, or some lingering echo of what we seek. Don't worry. If you find something, you will know it.
Very cryptic, and like, especially because of the druid side.
Yeah, and the only way for us to get Halson is to actually finish this quest line.
It's not easy seeing the ravages of the Shadow Curse. But your camp is a most welcome solace. You've shared your fire with me, your company. A small pocket of light against the darkness. But one I couldn't do without.
Thank you. Demands you drink.
Hi, Sue Wolf. I was drinking. Like, that's why I took, like, the 3-minute break and everything.
I can think of a thing or two. But in truth, it is for the best that the curse consumes my thoughts for now. This is the best chance I've had in a century.
Them, weren't you?
I cannot squander it. But if I succeed, if I break the curse, then perhaps there will be time for myself again. And for others.
Daddy.
What was that? What was what?
Nothing.
Ridiculous.
What, you're allowed to have your mommy, I'm allowed to have my daddy, okay?
I am not obsessive of the mommy that much. Alright, any whoosies, you got a liar now?
Not openly. Yeah, I've got the liar. Let me talk to him.
We are ready when you are, true soul. We need only the liar.
Oh, I already started. I have it right here.
Pluck a tune, and our guide will come scuttling.
Oh. Alright.
Hang on. What else is there in the area? Do we really want to trust these guys?
Ain't like we got
that hyena is all the way out in the darkness, and it's now red, by the way.
It's most likely dead. And then that's just a chasm there.
Reach the Moonrise Towers. Don't see much else in this area.
Alright, then let's go this a ways. Yep, so the...
I mean...
Oh.
Let's cook with fire, baby.
Nice.
Looking ahead.
Okay.
Oh.
This is why we need to keep torches on us.
Yep.
Or anyone who's got light spells.
But why is this locked?
You got a lockpick?
Yeah, I got like 4 of them. Hang on a second. My cat's grace gives me like advantage. My dexterity is +5. I am like.
There is a chest over there as well.
I am so good. Another torch. An elixir of fire resistance. I'll give that to you just in case. I'll send that to
What
Carla.
I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait here. If you want to go down for the chest, I can pick off anything that's gonna come at you from up here.
Oh, that gilded chest.
And I'll even cast dancing light down there for you.
All right, hang on a second. I'm going to need to, take a more delicate drop down.
It only lasts for 10 turns, though.
Alright, let me just get moving. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, there was perception. See, that's what I was waiting for.
I am surprised.
Stand back!
Nice. That honestly helped me.
You might want to bring Karlak down to you, too.
Did she not drop down? Oh, she didn't drop down. Okay.
I tried to do as much damage as I could without damaging that chest.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough.
See, I can't be surprised either.
And neither can Karlach. Oh, they're big boys.
They shouldn't come near you too close to the light anyway.
Damn it, I can't. Alright, hang on. So, Dante takes necrotic. Alright, so... Not enough movement speed. What?
You're entangled.
I thought there would be a way to get out of it.
You could try a scroll of Misty Step, but I think that just takes up one of your actions.
It's a bonus.
Grant, how dare you get surprised?
It's a bonus. Yeah! Oh, I'm still constrained.
No.
That is...
I kind of thought that would have gotten you out of it.
Nice.
Ooh, what push!
That was using Fist of Four Thunders. It's 2 key points.
Good hit.
Thank you. Alright, now it's your turn. Ah, the little Incineroar is here now.
Hi, little Incineroar. How you doing?
Just trying to get my butt and sniffing it. What the hell? Also, there's so many more of those things now.
I mean, little Incineroar, if you want to have a look at some cake, I mean, I got some cake.
That did it. Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Oh, dude, the cake is strong today. It is strong today.
Darn it. Not enough.
Maybe can you hit the Shadow Curse Needle Bright? That thing?
There we go.
Damn!
That was Scorching Rays from something. Can't remember what.
Damn. can't hit him from here. Path is interrupted.
Yeah, and I can't do anything while I'm constrained like this. Neither can Karlach. You're gonna have to drop down. Oh, what? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Mage armor, but
how?
I'll come down slowly. I don't want to jump straight down.
All right. Thank you. All right. So now.
Seriously?
Like,
Shot, why do we keep you around here?
there's gotta be a way for me to. Can't jump. Can't shove. Can't help myself.
And constricted only lasts for 2 more turns.
Yeah, but I'm taking damage for each of them because this guy's doing a concentration thing. Piercing
So we need to break
shot.
his concentration then.
There we go. Hitting him for a 12. You're gonna
What do
do
you mean
it.
he's too far?
Oh, twice he succeeded on his... What the fuck are their stats? 18 on the strength, 14 on the con. Oh. There we go.
Are you still constricted?
Yeah, it's because it's this guy down here. Karlach isn't anymore, though. So she can do it. She can do it. Karla. She can do stuff.
God, you want Mummy, but you don't know how to pronounce Mummy's name.
Target is too far.
Count on me.
Yeah. Arr. And not enough movement speed.
Trying to get him.
No longer constricting.
Oh, but you're down though.
Oh, that's not great. Grr. Stop moving. Alrighty.
Open up.
Shot, go and help him.
Reckless attack. Can't do. There we go, and then. There we go. Wood bark. Cool.
My wounds are too much to bear.
Okay, so there's nothing really all that great.
Best be on my way.
You opened the chest, didn't you?
Just a necklace, a cup, and some gold.
Alrighty, so... Oh, a shadow root sack. Elixir of viciousness. Combine 3 of these to create vitriol. Whatever the fuck that is.
No idea. Oh, hang on. Better stay close to you because you don't have a torch on yet, do you?
Shadow cursed vines? Are you fucking kidding me? God damn it. Alright,
Keep a torch on you, just in case I wander off.
Yep. Both my peeps on my side have a torch now.
I'm surprised Karlach doesn't generate her own light, given the fact that she's got an infernal engine inside of her.
Well, I think it's just like a low light, and it's like basically like kind of like when you have like the torch light like trying to go through your hand. I feel like is the kind of light that it is.
So yeah, my light for my infuse an object only lasts for a long turn.
Okay.
And I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Shadowheart has a light spell. No.
I don't think I... Hang on, let me check my...
Don't want to draw any attention.
Rain Dancer creates lights, magic weapon, mage armor, image, strange chunks of amber.
Before we take off, I want to see what skills best suits Shadow Hearts for a trickster mage.
You're just gonna do a little bit of googling looks?
I've already got one here for a trickster cleric. I just need to find what spells we should have prepped.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Anyone else pops out unannounced, I'll feed them an arrow.
So those are ones she's already got prepped.
Hmm.
So these are the ones she can use without needing to memorize. This level spell is considered aid, hold person, silence, and spiritual weapon.
Attention!
We're at level, what, 7?
7, yeah.
Yep. Hang on, let me just have a look. So... aid. Which one's aid? Don't run off too far.
I'm just going to the toilet. It's right there.
Healing word. Aid.
Thought there would be something there, but...
Old person. Spiritual weapon. Thaumaturgy, she's already got. Mass healing word. Animate dead. Revivify. Does she have Spirit Guardians? Bestow curse and fear. Oh, who's that? Little Incineroar! How you doing?
Yeah. Over in my stream as well. Hi.
Okay, so we've got a few more slots we can use for her. So might just put in just cure wounds. And bless. Just for now. Ooh, she's got a good lineup of skills here.
Okay.
Because like Spirit Guardian, I think is constant. Oh no, 10 turns. Okay, so that's something we use during a fight.
Okay.
All right, coming over to you. You're at the toilet, were you?
Yeah, I was exploring, and it looks like there's other kinds of things to check out. Yoink. I'm over here now. You got your dancing lights thingy-ma-dig?
Yeah, if I need it, but I've also got light on as well.
Silver platter, yearning of the moon. I'm not reading all that. Also, where the fuck are you running to?
That's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading any of them.
Yeah. Oh, another survival thing. Let's see what this digs up. An emerald ring and some gold.
Oh.
Oh, we can't climb down this. Okay.
Looks like there's something over there, a Droga.
Where? Oh. Yeah, he must have died. What happened to
There's the
him?
Moonrise
He died.
Tower. I think there's an inn or something we've got to find where we can find the boy.
What boy?
The one with the forest in his eyes.
Like, metaphorically, or is this Halsin's thing?
No, Halsin's thing.
Ooh, campfire.
Best to light anything we find like that.
Noted. I'm exploring.
Womp 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 womp.
Why do you bother with your dexterity level?
Cause screw you, that's why. Here, let me pass it down to you. Or you can just jump up like a, you know.
I'm a monk, I can jump. I jump good. Look at this chat. Look at this fucking magic user thinking that the marshal couldn't jump. Hey, it's a necklace that gives us fog cloud. One of the relics of Deep Dora's rebellious children. Drugging the keeper of Dora's vaults, the children crept in under cover of night and plundered their mother's treasure, seeking desperately for anything that would aid in their flight. Cool.
Looks like there's some sort of village just over here.
Donk. I'm going east.
Alright, I'll follow you.
Alright, here we go. Because like, one, I'm pretty sure I saw like a thingy-majiggy for... Yep, there it is, an ancient sigil. The Shadowed Battlefield. You good? I heard a grunt.
The Dark Lady shields me. I can feel her.
How did you get up there?
Climbed. Grey Scout's Journal. Shittin' near and Shittin' Scout's tasks. Your Droga find another way through the Shadow Curse. Sure, Shittin' near. Whoever laid this curse knew their business a lot better than you do. What was that? Gnomes, I killed you in the Underdark. You can't be...
Alright, looks like he killed some gnomes and they came back from the dead.
The curse has torn open the ground itself.
Hold up, I'll join you in a second.
Alright, because I was heading north. Oh!
How many you?
There was a struggle here. These people didn't want to go wherever they were taken.
Dead Cultist. Grey Hell. Sev. Amrek. Tauren with a worn key. Menmos. Oh, you got a pair. Okay, send that to camp. Asherak.
Oh, prison key, storage key.
I'm gonna light the brazier. That's
Carrot.
Not good. That's a lot of dead tieflings.
Oh, there's a standing torch just over there. Looks like there's a village not too far from us.
Oh, it does look something like a village.
Hang on, look.
There's like
that area there is untouched.
Yeah, there's like a bubble. I think it's this way.
I'll follow you.
Alrighty. I think this is... So just there, right?
Yeah.
For a warm
This place
bed
is
and
protected.
full stomach.
You
look
might
no
find
further.
allies here,
Welcome
or at least
to the
supplies.
Last Light Inn.
Alrighty.
No shadows here. Something must be keeping it at bay.
Whatever it is, let's not destroy it.
Noted.
You there! Step forward and keep your hands off your weapon. Who are you? Convenient that a sorcerer would emerge from the darkness of all places.
They're always
Keep
doing
your
magical
hands where I can
nonsense.
see them and follow me. Come.
Okay.
Come.
Jaheira.
Oh,
Well,
I recognize that name. She's from the first Baldur's Gate.
She is.
I don't remember her looking like that though.
Night, Sky.
Night, Sky. Thank you for coming along. What is she doing?
Hello.
Hello. Good to know. Could you at least explain why you're doing this?
Absolutely. This is why we're here, you see. It is a curious creature that hides all manner of secrets. But if there's one thing that we know, it's that it knows its own kind.
Oh.
You should never have come here, true soul.
I am not a true soul.
Stop! What are you doing?
Hey, it's
the one
it's the kid.
The one who protected the Emerald Grove.
I'm a he.
Yup. Didn't leave a goblin standing. Not so bad to hang around with either.
No, it's the
Two of my friends. One from a harpy and one from a mad druid with a snake. Didn't make a fuss about thieving either.
Yeah.
I pretty much trust him with my life.
Oh, now I'm a
true
he.
soul with a mind of his own? How is that possible?
Magic. Not our magic, but magic.
Oh, thank you, Mole. I have never been so happy to see you.
So helpful. Came in clutch after we funded their thingies. Because of this artifact. Might as well fucking show it to everyone at this point. What's it gonna do? Be more upset with us? Nah.
What in the hell is that thing?
Nice.
Whatever it is, I'm glad I didn't do that to my head.
Well, it's protecting us.
Congratulations. You've earned yourself the benefit of the doubt.
Hey.
Hear me, Harpers. All clear. At ease.
She, like...
I'll not pretend to understand.
Isn't the story of, like, the first and second Baldur's Gate basically where she was, like, a companion to the, to, like, the spawn of Baal or something like that?
It was.
Yeah, so, and helped them out, and then they defeated, like, other, like, followers of Baal. To destroy the Absolute.
You found an ally in me. For that is precisely why I am here.
Yes!
There's food in the inn over there. Beds too if you require rest. Aloe oil in the cupboard, in case the vines gave you a rash. Settle in.
I hope they didn't give me a rash. They were pretty close to my
You may
nethers.
just be the godsend we've been praying for.
Hey, we can talk to...
Around here, right? Oh my god, soldier. That's Jaheira.
Oh, she's fangirling right now. You know her?
Not personally. I mean, I wish. She's an absolute legend. Years ago, Over a century, Jaheira was part of a group that saved Baldur's Gate from Saravok, a Baalsport trying to plunge the city into war.
Oh, that's what I just said.
My mum used to tell us stories about them. The legends who protected the city from evil. She said Jaheira was a powerful druid. Adamant. Tough. I've told myself those stories 1,000 times since. I never thought I'd meet Jaheira. She's a hero, and I was always some outer city kid.
Oh, we gotta have them meet and talk to each other. I wonder if she's gonna get absolutely embarrassed.
Day.
Hang on, I'm gonna select her, and I'm gonna see if we can... Oh, Harper Dahmer?
Jaheira seems sure of you. I hope she's right.
There's
This
a trader
barricade
over
might
here.
keep
I'm
the
gonna have a talk with her.
Moving it.
Where's Jaheira? Oh, hang on, there's the new...
Yeah.
Yep, last light.
There's more where that came from.
Quartermaster
Stock
Tally.
up while you can. I only hope I've brought enough to see us
Friendship?
through.
Friendship.
Wow.
Do you need me to F5?
Nope, I just managed to get through that on 2 with all of my bonuses.
Oh my god. Well, at least you didn't roll a 1 where it would just be a crit failure.
Cheeky. But, since you're asking,
Nice. I want to talk to her now.
if you're all right by Jaheira,
Sorry, I'm just gonna try
you're all
to see
right
what
by me.
supplies I can sell off.
Okay. Just gonna zoom in
Because
here.
I am getting way
You know,
down.
you can just, I don't know, like, can't donk. Why can't I? No, I can't get out of the trading thing. Why do you just? Okay, you know you can just send some of this stuff to camp if you're getting over encumbered, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of a hoarder.
So am I, but I am a hoarder who uses their tools. You gotta hoard correctly, okay? You gotta use every tool in the toolkit.
I've never seen anything actually used with some of this stuff.
It's because of the D&D mindset where it's like, oh, rope will be useful at some point. It's like, no, when has the last time rope has actually been used for us in a nun?
Like the ingots, I feel like we can make stuff with that.
Radio.
Light on my feet.
Bronze ingot.
Harper.
I'll just sell them.
Fist Uthred.
Ooh.
Hey.
Range
That's
spell
close
attack
enough.
+1 grants
Give it the
resistance
rest,
to
Alfred.
fire damage. Gives me
We need all the
firebolt and
goddamn help
fireball,
we
which
can
I've already
get.
got. Could
Want
be
me to
useful for
shine
you.
Easy. A bit on edge, my
If you wanted to add firebolt to fireball to your arsenal.
But bastards torched the pigsty we were staying in.
Is it a cantrip or is it a...
Duke of Baldur's Gate himself.
No, it's within the... I think firebolt will be a cantrip.
Sure did.
For
all the good that
But
she's
fireball
inside.
is a level
One of
3
the ground floor
vocation spell, so
chambers.
you'd be able to use firebolt
Guess you need to be a
as many
goddamn
times as you
counselor
want.
to get room and board around
But
here.
fireball would be, you know, 1 or twice.
I think I'm good. I'll look at her wares when I have my... when I'm curious, so...
Ooh.
Can I pick this up?
Obsidian Lanced Rogue. On successful saving throw against a foe, deal 4/7 fire damage to them. Yes. Mighty Clothes, Bull Strength. Gains Bull Strength and increases your strength by 2 at a maximum of 20. Unwavering Bull. You cannot be pushed against your will, and you have an advantage on saving throws when being... That could be a good one for you.
It would be... I'll look at the... Again, I'll look at the... I'm also wearing, like, a fucking very rare piece of clothing that's giving me a lot of dexterity, which is very
There's also
helpful.
a cloak that you might actually find useful. Cloak of Protection, Armor Class, and Saving Throw.
I'll have a look at the wares when it's done, because... Hey,
Yep.
Strange Ox.
He's back here?
Peer within sight. Damn it, you used all the good rolls.
I didn't use all the good rolls. Sorry, I'm almost done with her. I'm just. Oh, there's also a hood you might want too, so I'll get out of her
I will
shop
go
in a second.
shopping when I want to go shopping. I'm fine.
Me.
Yeah. What are you doing? Why are you shopping now?
Because I want some stuff, and because I'm not letting you bap the person over the head and then
We're
leave me with
in
nothing.
the middle of it's not the middle of buttfuck nowhere. We're in the middle of a camp with Harpers and the Fist around. The other
You're
two
buttfuck nowhere.
You
Love you.
The audacity of him, chat. The absolute fucking audacity. Besides, I like when it comes to this whole purchasing nonsense thing, like
Take care now.
whether it's a 5-finger discount or a legitimate discount,
Soldier?
I will do the shopping when need be. I'll have a quick look around and such, and I'm kind of content with just, you know, finding things through quests or something else rather than buying them with gold. You saw the TikTok. It's just like money is no problem. Well, that's a fucking ridiculous price. I'm not paying for that. Even if it came with a reach around, and even then I'm still not paying.
Karlach! I thought you got
This
lost
is
in
why
the
I can't take
shadows.
Grant anywhere, because he'll steal everything
Glad to
not
see you
nailed
made it
down.
through.
He's supposed to be a monk.
You're here.
Barely. Many of us weren't so lucky.
I'm gonna have a
ambushed
look
by cult-
around.
That's terrible.
I can still help with that upgrade. If you found some
I'm gonna go in the
infernal
building
iron.
and have a look.
Yes, we've got the infernal
You
upgrades.
say that.
Absolutely.
Oh, you found him, did you?
Yep.
Please let this work.
Yay! She approves.
The weight of it. And that blaze of chaos.
Chaos.
Can't imagine this where my heart
You're
should
just
be.
we're just splitting the party right
Must
now,
be
aren't
quite the
we?
experience. Give me just a
I
moment.
found a guy.
Oh, a guy.
And I think
Oh, hang on. I'll listen to your thing first.
He's just hammering away. Why are you in my chat?
There. You'll have to install
Hang
it,
on.
I'm
Why
afraid.
am I in your chat?
I don't think there are thick enough gloves in all the realms to protect from.
Oh,
Wait,
I know why you're in my I now realize why I'm in your chat, Puffin. Because I think I was in your stream a while ago and I just never closed the tab.
I'm still burning hot as hell's hole, but I feel less.
I'm not moving from your chat. Also, you guys, you should check out McSpuffin over here.
And as for the heat, I haven't got any solutions now. But I'm not giving up. Could be
There we go.
if the combustion chamber had its own insulation,
last
or if we
checking.
had some kind of enchanted.
I've noticed you started, instead of using a VTuber model, you've actually started doing, you know, not the 3D model, but like the real 3D.
I'll need more infernal iron either way, though.
You're going with the
keep your eyes
webcam
open.
and such. How are you finding
Take
it? I want to talk to him again.
It's you. A makeshift Harper's fire might not be where I hope to set
PC
up
shit
shop.
and can't VTube on some
maybe I've
games?
got something you can use
Okay.
anyway.
Fair
And
enough.
if you
I am
find any
using a
interesting
relatively
materials
beastly
in
of a
need of
computer,
working,
and I think Code, you're looking into a 2 PC setup right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm considering it. I've got my older computer here, which I'm planning on hopefully setting up at some point. I want to get a new desk though before I do.
This map has only
'Cause I
function
feel
if
like
it's
my
balanced
de-
with
'cause-
an Eldritch or its packed weapon for.
Because my desk at the moment is only being held up by screws at this point.
Oh, I can feel that.
So I'm going to look for something a little bit more sturdier, maybe something a bit larger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a small shelf or set of drawers next to me. And then have my console shelf next to that.
Ooh.
So I can run my consoles and everything into my my HDMI splitter. That way, if I'm playing console games, I can use my normal computer, you know, the computer I use for always.
I'll be here
But if
you
I'm
need
doing
anything else.
streaming with my computer, I can run it through the other one.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
It sounds confusing, but I know what I mean.
It did just a bit, but I think I understand what you're
Juice
talking
me
about.
up. I don't think I've ever felt more powerful.
We'll find more infernal iron.
Sooner rather than later would be good. I feel like I'm burning serious fuel.
Sounds volatile. I'll keep an eye on
I can't
you.
tell if you're flirting or threatening me. I'll take either one.
Can't it be both? Alright.
What path lies before
Let me talk to the blacksmith again, because I know we have another thingy-majiggy.
Need anything?
You can work... What did you mean?
I can sense some. Smell it almost. So if you find it, bring it to me. I'll make something incredible.
I found some hellish mask. Can you make anything of
Using
these?
something that's already fabricated is tough, but I can try.
Here's a mask.
I thought I sniffed American scent somewhere. These must have been a pain to get a hold of. American masks are brittle, so what I make won't last as long as my usual pieces. There. Be careful who sees you using that. Might draw the wrong...
Are you doing a conversation right now? Oh yeah, because I...
Yes, I found someone that Halson might want to talk about.
I found this metal in a place called Grim Forge. What can you make of it?
Absolutely.
Alright, that was a quick chat. I'll go speak with Halson in a little bit.
Need anything?
I'll see
It's
what your
perfect.
conversation is at the moment.
Yep. Alrighty. A flawed Hell Dusk helmet, which gives me... The wielder has +2 bonus to saving throws against spells, and it gives me a Constitution saving throw +1. I will absolutely wear that. And then we got a rare heavy armor. When you are hit by a foe within 2 meters, it might take 1d4 of damage. You take 1 less on piercing, and you have disadvantage on stealth check. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Or
who wears
thorns.
heavy armor? The only one that does is Lae'zel.
It could be good for her. She's just wearing normal. Also, where is the...
Need anything?
Hang on. Is it because she's holding it? Alright, hang on.
Oh yeah.
Come on. Select him properly. There we go.
Need anything?
What? Why are you... Wait, she had... What happened to the other one?
I've got a long road ahead.
What, the...
She had like two infernal armor things. Hang on a second. Do you mind if we roll back to an autosave?
Yeah, roll back.
Alright, hang on. I'll do a save here just in case, like, I'm just, you know, tweaking and she didn't have... But I swear she had 2 pieces of armor. Or not 2 pieces of armor, but two pieces of the infernal, what's-a-mahoozies. Because, like, they needed the infernal plates, and I think because I had 2 of them in my inventory, it used both of them
Unless
for
you
whatever
use
reason.
them... Yeah, I was going to say, unless you use them both in one go.
Which is annoying, because the intention was, you know, we'd use both pieces to help.
But fuck that logic.
Fuck that logic. Yay, save scumming.
Aww. Damn, Agent Elvis got canned from Netflix.
Wait, what?
So
How's the barricade coming?
the Agent Elvis Netflix
But it can take a beating.
cartoon series
It'll need to.
got canned.
Cleric's magic won't hold out the darkness forever.
And I'm kind of disappointed by that.
No, they don't exactly...
Have a lot on my mind.
They don't do a good job with the whole,
in it.
what's-a-mahoozies. Yeah, she had 2 pieces. Alright, I'm gonna send 1 to Herkin. Ungroup.
Let's say hi.
Oh,
and see if it uses up both.
Yeah. Oh, the insight failed. Alright, so I'm gonna... So I'm gonna talk to him as Karlak.
Barely.
That's
I can still...
We've already heard
I was
this.
hoping you'd say that.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
Don't need a
Hopefully
potion of feather fall.
All right, so she doesn't have a piece.
I could go for a good meal.
And cool, he still has a piece. All right, I'm gonna send her back over to Karlach. Group back up. Also, be serious. See if you can get an insight done on this ox.
Looks like that.
Yeah, I'll have a look in a second.
Alrighty.
I don't need poison.
So that's progress.
All right, Dunk. Get the first bit
I
of.
don't think I've ever felt more powerful.
Still can't touch
Do
you
you
though.
want to?
Yes. Of course I do.
Like that. Now,
Red
let's
dye,
find-
leaf green, pale orange, green, ocean dye.
We're not really using dye all that often. I feel like dyes and glamours are a very MMO thing. Unless it costs nothing to apply them to you.
So glad you're
it's
all right.
Like, or you know,
As all right as any of us.
I mean, you gotta
A
buy them,
makeshift
but
harpist fire. might
if
not
it was
be
a case
where
of
I hope to
unlocking the
set up
color
shop.
and you can swap them
maybe I've got
willy-nilly
something
like
you
with
can
Spider-Man,
use.
I think it would be absolutely
And
worth it.
if
But
you
because
find
it
any
costs to
interesting
get a single
materials in
use,
need of working,
I don't know.
I'm happy to help. I
it just depends. If you've got a piece
hesitated
of
to
armor you
mention
don't
this
like the
when
color for, and you can quickly
Elturel was
just
dragged into Avernus.
dye it to something
I
you'd like.
was drafted into a devil's smithy. I can sense some, smell it almost. If you find it, bring it to me. I'll make something incredible.
Alright. That
Some of us had it
and I've
easier
got the
than
cloak.
others. The baker,
Might as
the
well have both
schoolmaster.
on.
When Elturel was swallowed up. As for me,
Raises my
I would
AC
say
a
I
little bit.
enjoyed
So
my time there, but it was certainly using
Cookie
something
for Jason.
It is tough, but I could. Merrigan there.
Alrighty.
Blood. No, never mind. Need anything?
Absolutely.
Yep. Flawed Helldusk.
Making me sweat.
Okay, once again, it's
At least things have stayed interesting.
what the what? Hang on.
they disappeared.
Wonder if the gods
Like-
are watching me.
That is strange. Okay, I'm gonna send one of them. I'm gonna send one of them to a chest, and I think it might just be a case of, you know, we do the exchange and such like that. Go to sleep because we definitely need the HP restoration and all that kind of nonsense while we're here. And I'd rather do it as like a proper thing rather than as a brain think please. I'd rather do it as a proper sleep rather than like several
Short rest.
yes. Exactly. Thank you. Short rest. So,
Grant brain no work well good.
yeah, no, exactly. Alrighty. Scratching the top. Alright. Inventory. Alright, so there's the one piece there.
Can I finish doing my trading?
Send to camp.
Should mind my step.
Alrighty, and then
Looks like that odd ox made it through the shadows.
Dink, talk to you.
Karlach!
Damn it!
I can.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Alright, let me quickly do all this shit before you start
It's good
doing
to be
stuff.
alive.
How fares the search?
Maybe, but I'd need it.
We certainly will.
Wait, what? Hang on. It's right there. Send to Herkin.
Alright, what?
Herkin starts talking.
How fares the search?
There we go. I found the infernal armor you mentioned.
Pleasure. Hopefully then.
There we go. And then talk to her.
I don't think I've ever felt more. Do you want to? I'd like.
There we go. All right. You're doing trades right now?
Yes, so please do not.
And if you find any interesting, I can send. If you find it, bring it. So, as for me, I won't say I enjoy.
Absolutely.
Don't be shy.
Okay, so right now, Karlach's AC is only 13 because of the dexterity and constitution. But if we give her heavy... If she can get, like, heavy armor as, like, an attribute thing, then she'd benefit from it for sure. Excuse me.
Need anything? It's perfect. Need anything? Well, what? Need anything? Using something that's already fabricated. Merrick, there. Need anything?
Alright, so... Can't do anything with the adamantine slag or the mithril. The wielder has against spells. Alright, so I'm gonna... have you wear that, and then you... Yep, you're wearing that right now. Hi there, Fakovia. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully everyone is doing alright. Welcome, welcome. Winter clutches, deals cold, deals... Ooh, what does these do? Oh, Your weapon attacks deal an additional D4 of fire. Your unarmed attacks deal an additional D4 of necrotic, and you can possibly inflict bleeding. It gives me +1 in strength. Yes, please. Oh my god, look at these fucking mitts.
Do you have proficiency in them though?
No, yeah, they're just rare gloves.
Oh.
It's only like the art. So yeah, I am fucking popping. And then.
Hey, good looking.
You might want to check that other Harper lady that we were at before.
Hide that. Yep. Okay. Group back up. Why does she seem familiar?
Good to see a friendly face.
Oh, I thought she seemed familiar for some reason. It's the strange ox, by the by. Oh, you have no bonuses. I'm gonna F5 that. Nah, you done goofed. You done...
So do we want to F8 that then?
Nah, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth at all. Because at best, we get, like, what? Him, like, I bet it's just a person polymorphed into an ox, and they make mooing noises. Noises, sorry.
Well, screw you two.
Yeah. Alrighty, Quartermaster.
Stock up while you can. I only hope I've brought enough to see us through.
Let's see. Javelin. Longbow.
Cheeky.
Hey, a supply pack, nice.
If you're all right,
oh, you got one off of the two.
You're all right by me.
Alrighty, get rid of the leather gloves and the boots. Alright, let's have a look at items.
Yeah, she's got two really good ones there that I think you'd really, really want.
So the Executioner is a 512, a 617.
Oh, Swordmaster. You gain proficiency with short sword, long sword, great swords, in addition to...
That might be good for you.
I don't use a sword.
Not yet. Oh, wow, that is really fucking cheap. Why is it only 950? Alright, so the Executioner is a D12 and it does +3. When making your first attack on the round, you can reduce this weapon's enchantment by 1 to increase your armor class and saving throw bonus by 1. Yeah. Firebolt, cantrip, then level 3, and a topple. I can see why you'd like this one. Yonti Scale Mail. Is she proficient with it? Add your full dexterity modifier to your armor class. Additionally, does not impose disadvantage on stealth. Neat. The Mighty Cloth increases your score by 2. Nice. Bull Rush. I think, yeah, you're right. Bull Rush might be a good one. When you make an attack.
Because that'd be useful for you.
Well, again, I'm good with my, because I'm more dexterity heavy with my attacks rather than strength. So
take care now.
Hang on, let me just look at Karlach's stats again. She would probably benefit from it more.
That's your... We found him out in the...
This is no physical ailment. It is a spiritual malaise. The man's...
Really? Could you bring him...
I went all
here?
through this before, so...
You'd be glad of the help, wouldn't you, sir? No, not till I met Art, anyway. It seems to be all he remembers. This was in his pocket. He doesn't seem to have any reaction to it now, but he held on to it for 100 years anyway.
Good, he's holding on to shit.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. But yeah, she would benefit from... She would benefit from it, so...
All right, time to skulk about.
Holland, rank, flame, objective to obtain information about the current activities of Moonrise Tower, and it's envious headed by Ketheric Throm of the region's ancestral Throm family. Orders: take lodging in Last Light Inn and begin investigation in local House of Healing. Reports indicate corruption, but not corroboration has been made yet. Note, the region's Throm family are the last standing devotees of Saloon, but rumor indicates that Sharon in might have gained momentum. Okay. I'm gonna have a look up the stairs too, see if there's anything up here.
Out of sight, out of mind. Don't mind if I do. I don't need any attention right now.
The lady of... Okay. Oh, I don't want to disturb this lady over here. I'm glad we... Oh, no, especially not with Shadowheart here. No. No, not going near her with Shadowheart.
Oh, why not? What's wrong with her?
Lady of Saloon.
Quiet. Move with care.
You're being arrested for theft. If you have a defense, make
As
it
in
now.
the other goddess that Shadowheart doesn't like?
That's just... I don't know what to say about that.
Logical.
The guard is impassive. Your little
Grant,
speech
what did
was
you do?
unconvincing.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
I can't take you anywhere, can I?
Look, I just wanted to look, okay? I just wanted to look and see how difficult it was. The things I wanted were over over 10 on the roll, which wasn't likely gonna happen.
Then buy them.
It's too expensive.
Stop being a bitch.
It's not being a bitch. It's being financially savvy.
It's being a bitch.
It's called being financially savvy.
Being a bitch.
Let me just try this.
No.
Please.
Grant.
Just this once. Please! Please!
Why did you go rogue if you wanted to steal from people?
Because I rolled a dice and it said monk, and I was gonna commit to the decision of the dice.
So you're like an evil thieving monk.
There's nothing wrong with that.
See any movement out there?
Hey, if I turn this, can I ask for your help with an idea of mine?
Dark to tell.
Yeah, what's that?
All right. I am. Oh.
Watch it.
If it's for stealing, then no.
No. Maybe, but you know, you're not going to be doing the stealing. Could you? Actually, I can just have Carlac.
I feel like a rofé in a tea shop.
Hang on. No, not that one. This one.
I'm gonna go to the camp.
There we go. All right. So.
Who's being a bitch? Also, hey, how's everyone? Good, thank you, Maxwell. Also, Grant's stealing from people.
I shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Oop.
So it's Grant. Grant is being a bitch.
Why can't I?
Don't burn yourself.
Damn it.
What to do?
Grant, what are you doing?
Just trying out some things. Don't you worry.
Let's see what you're hiding.
Scroll of banishment.
You wish to speak?
Damn it!
Oh, did I activate that on you?
You activated that. Don't worry, I'm back. I'm back at
Sorry. I didn't know that was gonna activate when I started speaking.
+5, +3. Roll target 7. Oh, that's gonna be
Not up for trading today, I'm afraid. Surely no one will notice.
I'm just gonna
surely.
wait for Grant to fuck things up.
All right, that requires a 19, so we're not gonna go for that one. After dealing damage with an unarmed, the wearer gains +1 bonus to their spell save until the thingy. You are invested with the power of the meadows and woods of the land and have the effect of bark skin, increasing your armor class to 16. The mighty cloth, 19. Shield of devotion. Protection from
Yeah, so Grant is
missiles.
trying to currently steal from one of the traders who we're supposed to be nice to.
We're fine. We are absolutely fine, okay? They haven't...
Fine. Gets caught the first time.
Look, I didn't get to steal anything. And I'm just looking at what some of the stuff, and it looks like I can get the Defender's Great Axe if I wanted to.
See, that's what I said. That's what I said to Grant. How dare thou?
How dare thou? No one on my side is complaining about this. Let's see. Then that's the light. That's the.
Did you get caught? Did you get caught?
No, not yet. I'm just quick say because.
Grant gonna get caught.
Not yet. Just wait. I just need to. Oh.
Hey ho. Excuse. True soul, I believe.
No time to rest.
Are you done? Did you get caught?
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
I'll be fine.
What a charmer. Phew.
See, this is why, chat. I can't take Grant with me anyway.
Nice and quiet now.
You know what? While he's doing that, I'm going to use the magic mirror. I'm going to pretty myself up a little bit.
Alrighty.
Did you steal the things you wanted to steal?
Scroll of blur.
I can take.
Oh, I rolled a 19. Then that would have been helpful on my
Oh. Sorry, I didn't know it was going to put me into your into that cutscene too.
It's funny when it happens.
Why is it doing that though? You know, it's set to automatically do it.
Yes. Okay. Speak with dead. Hideous laughter. Polymorph.
I like this. I like this look a little bit more.
Nice.
I don't like the big old horns that they have.
Chicken missile. Wall of fire. Hypnotic hold. Gust of wind. Fireball.
Fireball!
Oh my god! I rolled an 8. Minion. Dun. Basilisk oil. You know what? That might be useful.
What to take?
Yeah, I actually considered getting a an eyebrow piercing one time.
Oh, what? Interesting.
From your pocket to mine. Well, that's interesting.
Pain.
Actually, I still want to get my
flying.
ears pierced.
Yeah, that seems alright.
Using a 5-finger discount.
My character just said using a 5-finger discount.
See, look, my draggy got that big black lip. Big black lip.
Nice.
I got that sexy bottom black himbo lip.
Got myself a bagel.
You stole a bagel.
Yes.
Okay, I hit confirm, but nothing's happening. Am I stuck or?
Give me a mo. Give me a mo.
Oh, because you're doing something.
Yeah, I'm doing something.
So because you're doing something, I'm stuck here. Because he's decided to be a dirty, rotten thief, I'm stuck here.
You're being arrested for theft. If you have a defense, make it now.
You got caught, didn't you?
Since when is borrowing a crime?
Oh, God.
Try your best, but your best just isn't good enough. Gold may have made your problem go away.
Noble, fine by me.
This is why I can't take him anywhere, people.
Look.
He steals a bagel and gets caught for it.
I didn't lose to a bagel. I lost to other things. Also,
Are you done? Are you done stealing?
It didn't work as well as in the intention that I had planned, which was that she was supposed to like be in the cloud obscured and making it like so much easier to do everything else. She still ran away because I couldn't do the thingy-majiggy that I wanted.
If you're all right by
Did you at least get the items you wanted?
Not all of them, but you know.
But it can take a beating.
I've got this. Let's ride.
Cleric's magic.
Alright, I need to talk to Halson. So
Alrighty then.
don't do anything dumb while I'm talking to Halson, please.
Alright, let's go to camp then.
Maybe not.
Oh, it's kind of the same as like the other time. Alright, so she's in the crazy drift out.
Oh yeah, make sure Gale isn't suffering from... Oh no, there's Gay. No, he's not suffering.
Yeah, didn't they turn him into like a suicide bomber?
Yeah, something like that.
He is? Then I must see him. Insensible or not, he knows something.
Something.
I will go to see him at once. Join me when you can.
I've got a long road ahead.
Yep, there's Gay.
Very well.
Now, did we want to take a long rest?
Yes. We'll take a long rest. Oh, it's Will's
Playtime's over, pet.
Oh. As if.
Oh, I love this time of year. The dickheads start popping up wherever you look.
Yeah, Karlach!
You want Mizora.
Drop the attitude and perk up your ears.
Mm-hmm.
Mission. Absolute cult on and grab one of Zariel's assets. They're locked up on the
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
Moonrise Towers. And you're getting him out.
If this devil is so powerful, how did they manage to get captured?
Will, your playmate's wasting precious time. Let's see about getting his priorities fixed. Clause Z, Section 13. Should promised soul refuse obeyance or neglect duty, the pact holder shall cast the promised into Avernus as a lemure. I'll make it simple. Will fails or refuses, and he turns to a thick blob of stink flesh and sinks to Avernus. Now, be a good boy and play fetch, pup, or you'll spend an eternity sizzling in the hells.
Mizora's words may be flippant, but they are tinged with desperation. She cannot afford for Will to fail this mission.
Oh,
This may be
boy.
your best chance to negotiate Will out of his pact.
We are going to do that.
Oh, and what condition is that?
A
Your
renegotiation
mind
at the very
links
least.
with Will's, drawn in by his increasing panic.
What are you doing?
Trust me.
Will relaxes, and your connection fades.
We will rescue this asset if you release Will from his pact.
Interesting. Now, why should I go letting my favorite pet off his leash?
Ooh, let's see. History would be 3. Performance would be... Oh, okay, so it's... This is a dealer's choice for you, because you're talking to them for Will. I don't think it's going to be the performance. Which one did you go for?
History.
So now you're doing a roll.
Do we want to make an F5 just in case?
There we go.
Do I
Ow!
look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want to
Hi there, Rika Suru. Thank you for the 20 bits. I want to roll those nat 20s. Oh, I should have done something for 20. Oh, okay. You should have gone for the intimidation of like, oh, like, if they turn into a thrall, I bet you that's going to be something for the Absolute will enjoy.
Damn, probably should have done that. Well, you said dealer's choice.
Yeah, did you not read the options? Reading the options explains the options.
I read the option.
He didn't read the options.
I read the option.
How is it going, Rika
Interesting.
Suru?
Now, why should I go letting my favorite pet off his leash?
Woo! I saw it on your thingamajiggy. I was paying attention. We succeeded.
You recall an old incantation from a children's story, said to void a devil's contract. Abi diabole et nunquam ready.
But yeah, I would say use the intimidation.
We can always let them infest the asset.
Yeah.
Alright.
Because she's desperate for a very, like... Also, I quick save just then, so then that way if we wanted to go for... That was a 4, wasn't it? This is why I do this. We're here for the fun times.
Yeah, we're not here for a proper D&D game.
Mm-hmm. God, it's gonna be so weird going into a D&D game, like IRL, and being like, can we go back a few steps? And they're just sort of like, no, we're not quick saving
Quick
here.
load! Quick load! Quick load!
You recall an old incantation from a children's story, said to void a devil's contract. Abi
Hey, there we go.
Nunquam ready.
Incredible. You actually think you hold the winning hand? Fine.
We know
Play
you
your
can't
game.
win without
But
us.
I amend the pact once the mission's done, not before. Clause F, Section 9. Soulbinder shall bestow reward or favour only upon soul bearer's fulfillment of related obligation.
Ooh.
Now, to Moonrise, pet. And do mind the shadows. They've been
Gym down,
especially
dinner down, and
hungry.
now tired. Cozy time with the Zeebs. Nice! Good to hear. Oh yeah, now we can go to bed.
And, oh, hang on, the characters want to
Boots have
speak to
seen
us.
everything.
Astarion.
This dark land must be filled with the broken, the beaten, the desperate.
Wow.
The
Speak
perfect
more
training
like a
ground for
Victorian.
devil who offers a way out for those who sign on the dotted line. I hope we end up seeing our friend Raphael down here somewhere.
Why? Why do you want to see him?
Help me find him, and you'll find out. When I was taken to his house, I was caught off guard. But now I know what to ask for.
Uh-huh. Your funeral, but why not?
I knew you would understand.
Thank you, Astarion.
What about Will? Does Will... Oh, yep, Willis wants to say something.
Where is he? Oh my god, he's so fucking far away.
The more bullshit she pours, the more of it I'm forced to swallow.
Well...
Mazora set me on fiends inside and outside the Hells. She's never ordered a rescue.
Gods.
She's
She
desperate.
makes a mockery of everything the Blade stands for. Such an asshole. Thank you for sticking your neck out for me. I mean it, but I'm not going to celebrate till I'm actually free. Can already feel her scheming. She won't let me go without a fuss. Trust me on this.
Mm-hmm.
Not a one. All that matters is that we free it. Fail, and I'm made a mindless blob clawing at demons on the front lines of the Blood War. And it means everything to me. I always knew what my future held, and I know I chose right.
Don't worry, Will. We won't let you turn into a blob.
Yep, we will do what we
Nonetheless,
can.
It's funny to... Did you just make a Will joke?
No,
Also,
I missed what I said.
Your mommy wants to speak to you.
Let me talk to her. Oh, is she dreaming?
God damn it! Why did it have to be Mazora? Why did it have to be Zariel? We're supposed to risk our necks to get one of her assets? What if it's a runaway like me? Or something far worse?
After what Will sacrificed to say you, it's time to repay the favor.
I never forget what Will did. Not ever. I'm here because of him. And I'd do just about anything to help him. But devils never lose. You know that, right? Sure, they'll give you a bit of tat here and there. But the house always wins.
She's not wrong.
Copper for your thoughts.
Highly wrong. All right, that's everyone that wants to speak to us.
Like, here, like, I reckon it is one of those cases of, like, the house will always win if you're trying to, like, bet against the house and what have you. But the more definitive, like, lesson from devils is devils are reliant on you breaking the rules, so you take reprimation more than them. They will break as many rules as they need to and, you know, twist the rulings in their favor and what have you, but none of that matters if you're able to play their game, aim and what have you, which we're doing at this point. we're not breaking any of the rules, so there isn't exactly a chance for them to just sort of, you know, back out from whatever deal we made with them. Donk.
Well, only one way to find out.
Hopefully so. Carrot. Now we're properly sleeping.
Ah!
The voice of the Absolute is strong here.
It's my lady!
Getting stronger. I don't know how much longer I can resist it. But it's good to see you're making progress.
Is yours also dressed in fineries as well?
Yes.
You took an unexpected route here. You did a brave thing, saving those people in the grove.
I did what I could, but I'm not sure they'll survive out there on their own.
Don't be so hard on yourself. It's not your fault the world is wicked. You did the right thing.
Oh, you succeeded on a perception?
Stop. We are being bombarded
Yeah,
by waves of telepathic energy. Wave after wave with hardly a breath between them. I almost dare not rest. Each wave a set of orders to the infected. The order for your transformation has been given many times already.
You look terrible. Do you need a
but
hug?
The orders are oddly erratic, as if the Absolute cannot make up its mind.
There. Huggies, huggies.
I don't fully understand. In any case, the Absolute knows you carry me with you now. It wants to retrieve
That's all I'm
me.
giving you. Sex is for Halsam.
Did you steal the power to protect us from the
I
Absolute?
stole it from Blackith. Her continued rule depends on it. As long as the Absolute exists, I am trapped within the prism. I can only control the power from here. We must make sure Blackith never gets her hands on the prism. Nor the Absolute.
Oh. That's an interesting detail.
What's that?
Unfortunately, they are both dedicating more and more
I might be at a
resources
different
to
point in the
retrieving
conversation
it.
than you.
Oh.
The task ahead is monumental. But we're all that stands between victory for the Absolute and freedom for all. This is not just about you and I anymore. It has become far bigger than us. You must infiltrate Moonrise Towers, discover the secrets of the Absolute, and put an end to it. So we can finally be free.
Okay, so the Absolute wants to retrieve
Now I
it.
must rest. And you must...
So... Let's see, where are you at? So the detail that I got from my dream visitor is that Vlaakith will want either the prism or the Absolute. So, like, the Githyanki, like, queen god is very much interested in either one of our powers, which seems to be along the lines of subjugation. Talking about, you know, something being bigger than the two of you now. Just the two of us.
You and I.
Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
Do not let my efforts be in vain. Too late! They're in vain!
Woo! Zoom out.
They're in Spain without the A.
Nice.
Ooh, doggo! Doggo.
The dog wags his tail, a small bag clenched between his teeth.
Do you have
Get
animal
that
speak?
here. No, I don't have any potions for that.
He gives in and surrenders his find to you.
Pristine sandal.
missile.
Mesh toe sandals.
We a good boy who gave me some
Scratch
sandals.
his tongue
Give me some
warmly and
sandals.
happily, his tail wagging even faster.
Good boy. Alrighty. Now I need to.
They're basically there's shoes for when I'm in camp.
Yep, sounds fair. Alright, so there's the infernal iron. Pick that up.
Damon can use this to fix me.
Alrighty. We head back to Damon.
We head back to damn it.
Damn it. Getting my cake shown on stream again. Damon.
Yeah.
There you are. Well, two things. Good news and bad news.
Which do you want to
The
hear?
good news, obviously.
Oh, why am I?
I only need one more
There we go,
piece
that's
of
better.
infernal iron
Also,
to
I'm gonna get rid
craft
of
an
the. I'm gonna
insulating
not
chamber
show the helmet
that can
at
make
the
it
moment, 'cause I
possible
don't like
for
how it
collective.
Touch people.
Exactly.
Yay!
Oh my god. It's really happening. It's been so long. We've got the iron. Let's do this thing.
Hang on. I think you'll want to hear the bad news too.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. But first, fix me. Please.
I don't want her to cry.
Well. All right. This
There. So did it work?
only one way to find out.
Pull her into a hug. Yay! I got to hug her.
So is she healed now? Is she?
We can touch. I don't know if she's like healed. But we can hug. Yay.
I can't believe it. Thank you, Damon. Thank you so much.
It's the least I could do. Before you go, there's something I need to tell you. That engine of yours, it's contained for the moment, but it's just too hot to exist here in the material plane indefinitely.
Oh.
I know you know that, but the thing is, there's a cure. I wasn't making any headway with the mechanics, none at all. The environment here is just too cold to sustain metals like the ones inside you. You have to return to Avernus. For good. Or this thing is going to burn you up from the inside out. And sooner than you think.
Fuck
The
that.
minute I set foot back in Avernus, Zarya will force me back into service. I'm not doing her bidding again. I'd rather die.
I get
There's
that.
got to be
but don't
something that
rule
we
it
can do
out.
then.
There's got to be a
The
workaround.
world just might be better with you in it. Even in Avernus. I won't stop trying to figure out a cure. But at this point, I think we all have to face the inevitable.
Right? All this doom and gloom. Thanks, Damon. Really. You've given me more than I could ever repay.
It's been my pleasure.
And now Grant can get with mommy.
Yeah.
This is the best day. The best day! I'm so happy for me too. Now I just need to find someone to cuddle up to tonight, and I'll be the happiest woman on the Sword Coast.
Anyone in mind?
I'm not sure. Depends who's got me in mind. Withers was giving me the old eye the other night.
Oh, don't you fucking
Then again,
tease.
maybe it was just an old eye.
Me! I am so mad.
Grant's desperate for mommy.
I have worked so hard. Oh my god, you're doing the thingamajiggies again.
Daniel and me.
Hopefully we get some good news.
Climb
Climbing up a tree.
It's true then. He's met Daniel. There's no other way he'd know that name. This is just what we needed. Well done. We need to wake him. He must know something about where to find Daniel.
Yeah, but we can't wake him. We don't have a way to.
If he was able to escape the Shadowfell, then it mustn't have managed to consume his spirit. Well, not all of it anyway. We need to unlock whatever's left of him, inside his head. There must be something to trigger him. A word, a memory, an item. We just need to find it. I don't deserve you, my friend.
If he's singing, what about a lute?
Is that what you're gonna try and do?
He keeps saying Daniel's name. He must know more. Without Daniel, no. And I don't know how I can find him without speaking to this man. He keeps saying Daniel's
You're
name.
not-
Sorry, I was trying to see if I could talk to her.
Doesn't look like.
You really got to turn off the auto thing. Is that why you're not being pulled in every conversation I'm
Well,
doing?
I don't know what conversations you're gonna get pulled into, and I know that if I take it out.
Oh, it's His
you're-
Majesty!
What?
It's His Majesty!
Who the fuck is that?
His Majesty!
The fuck is that?
His Majesty! No! I failed His Majesty!
We're continue.
I need animal speak.
Oh, do you now?
Yes.
I got 6. Hang on a second. I just need to find where it's sitting.
Thank you. I may or may not have stolen one. Wait, where did His Majesty go?
Ooh, potion of greater healing.
Majesty, where did you go? No, seriously, where'd the cat go? Did anyone see where he ran? Oh, there he is.
Begone!
Aww.
Begone!
But you tried talking to His Majesty.
You fucked it up already. I imagine I'm gonna get the same result when I drink this potion.
Hiss! I say hiss! And yet you harm me by your very presence. This is my territory, and you're in it.
My intentions are pure. I don't.
So here's the thing. Here's something interesting. When the game first came to be, His Majesty was this model, right? Which was actually a mistake because he shared the model with another cat, which you can find later on.
Right.
When they updated the game, they actually gave him his original model, which was a long-haired cat.
Oh, that's so much better.
Nobody liked it.
Slinked, of course.
Nobody liked it at all. And in the latest one, you know how there was the
now,
patch
girl.
update that said we
Quickly
shaved His
contribute to
Majesty again?
notice. For my part, I have noticed the cleric is a liar. She promised me a bit of milk. Do you see any milk, do you? Nor do I. Disgraceful.
Lol.
So yeah, he was shaved.
I
They
prefer.
shaved him.
If we had a choice between cats, I'd prefer a long-haired.
No, he better like that. Oh, it's the monk. Not the monk, the bard. Alfera.
You're all right.
Oh, there
Thank
she
goodness.
is.
I was worried they'd got you too. It wasn't the curse that did us in. We were ambushed out in the darkness.
The
by
darkness.
cultists. We surrendered. But that wasn't enough for them. They lined us up like dogs. Asherak was with the kids, telling them it was going to be all right. Maybe that's why they picked him. Told him to kneel. They took his eyes first. Then his tongue. It just never stops.
She's not had a good time,
Some of us
has
fought
she?
back. Or tried to. But it was hopeless. All I could do was run. That means a lot, coming from you. You always seem to take everything in your stride. How do you do it? How do you keep going?
Booze.
And a massive boner. I mean, what?
We're in the same boat then.
I'll let you know when I figure
That's
it out. It's probably one of our
somewhat
better
of a comfort.
lines.
You've done so much for us already. But I have to ask. The others might still be out there. If they're not dead, they're in Moonrise. And gods have mercy on anyone in that.
Everyone is at Moonrise, aren't they?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Thank you. If anyone can manage it, you can. Just be careful out there.
Sounds good.
All right? I can't handle anyone else dying.
Right here. So, I got up to this part in my campaign, but I'm noticing there's less people here than in my campaign, like my offline play.
Might have been done during your campaign. It was different than ours.
I gave like the bard. Oh, sorry, not the bard. There was like a magical person with us at the party in this campaign. I know we failed.
She can finally seek out the touch of another.
Laddie,
only to be
hello.
told
Thank
she
you for
might
the
not have
raid.
much
How you
time left.
doing?
Hello.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call Shadowheart.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, one of the things that's
Can I get
different.
a shout out for Laddie though too, please?
One of the things that was different was the there was like a magical person in our camp during the party. In this campaign, I know we failed to get him drinking and enjoying this stuff. In mine, I was able to convince him to join us for a drink.
Yeah, I did the same. In
Oh, wait! Before you go further, I'm gonna need to swap someone out real quick.
What are you doing?
Soldier?
Sounds boring.
Oh,
All right, hang on.
I don't trust what Grant's doing. I'm well too, thank you, Laddie. How you
Don't
doing?
worry. Like, I may be
Oh,
grabbing
you're
a.
playing.
Go on.
You were playing Overwatch 2. Oh, have you checked out Roadhog's new kit yet in Overwatch 2, Laddie?
I'd shake a hand, but she can still snap me in two.
So they've given Roadhog some new kit. So they've removed his alt fire, given him one fire mode.
Given your own nature, are you really the one to judge?
Oh, you see Raphael there too, don't you?
Yes. Look at this. Look at this man.
He's playing with Mole.
Yeah, that's not... Like, I kind of expect Maul would be fucking making deals with devils for all we know, but that ain't great.
But yeah, as I was saying, quickly before we get... Oh, no, never mind. We'll get the conversation first.
Oh.
You trapped me? I didn't even want to take this one.
Kalimshan rules, dear. The first piece touched is the first piece moved.
That's garbage. No matter where the night goes, I'm gonna lose it.
Then make the sacrifice useful. Guard your Mistra, or come for my Cyric.
Look who made it. For once,
Hi, Mole.
I saved your butt out there, didn't I? We're square now, Chief. Say, do you play lance ball by any chance? It's my first time playing.
It looks like 3D chess.
The keen gleam in Mol's eyes reveals the lie. She knows the game well, and she wants to win.
All right, you wanted to say code?
So yeah, they've changed Roadhog's kit. So they've given him a new fire. They've removed his alt fire. I think they've also now removed the cooldown time for his heal, but reduced its damage reduction. and they've given him a new ability, which is a trap, which slows and stuns enemies.
Have they been giving a lot of the Junkertown characters traps instead?
I think so.
Because, like, Junkrat was who I first recalled having a trap, like the giant thingamadiggy. I feel like Junker Queen, like, she's not the most inspiring of, like, new tanks, but...
Yeah, but I don't think she has a trap.
She has a bleed that does a slow effect.
Who is Boulder, and why is a gate named after...
Some reason. But yeah.
O'Dragons, I have no idea.
Yeah. Who knows? Didn't play as Roadhog, was doing Mystery Heroes. Ah, nice. It's been a long time since I did Overwatch 2. I'm very much just conscientiously objecting to Blizzard while Bobby Kotick is still leading. So... I'm gonna go with the monk, and I'm not gonna accidentally jostle the board, because you know what that...
Fine.
Because you know what that is? That's cheating the devil. You don't... If we're gonna do something to the devil, we're not gonna cheat. We're gonna do this fairly, and we're just gonna make... Because if he's gonna have a tizzy about us talking to the opposition, he shouldn't be... Like, that's bullshit complaints. Jostling the table would definitely be something he would see as valid.
His king is wide open!
Yeah! Nice.
My, the Thescan double counter gambit. Vicious. Exactly what I would have done.
Staring approves.
How's that for
Also, I'm good,
Callum
thank you,
Shambles?
Nick.
Brava. Lovely work.
Take care, Elvish.
See, I was right to make you the offer I did. You will consider it, won't you?
What the fuck did he offer her?
No worries, laddie. Did he lose a ball?
What a lovely
Great
specimen
Battle?
she is.
No.
A blushing apple begging to be plucked.
That is some
Stay away
weird...
from Mole, you little
Suggestion
bitch.
Was inspired. I had no idea you played.
There's plenty about me you have no idea
Don't
about.
I? Indeed. But don't you worry about Moll. It goes without saying she still has the unconditional freedom to choose the only option she has left. Now,
Excuse me?
Oh, I'm gonna
let's
stab you
talk
right in
about
the
you.
dick.
I sense there's something.
My stab is just in the way.
I do. I have a proposal for you.
Oh,
A
God.
proposal? If you're hoping to taste my blood, little vampling, think again. It burns hotter than wyvern whiskey.
This is serious business. Devil. Well, a long time ago, someone carved some runes into my back. I'd rather like to know what they say.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember the scars.
I want to egg him on. I want to say I don't think he knows.
Really? It's something very important to your master. But is it a love letter, a warning, or a deed of ownership? I could give you all.
I was hoping that me being like, oh, he knows fuck all, would have just egged him on.
Let me think about it and get back to you.
You'll get back to me. This is important, Devil. When?
Don't worry, I'm motivated to help you. Scars often tell such wonderful
the expression Astarion does, where he's just like flailing his arms and he's just like impatient.
I'll see you soon.
No sound.
Oh, I wanna stab him straight in the balls.
Hey, I got orphan camaraderie. All right, where's the
I
Astarion?
really want to stab him in the balls.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Alrighty. All right, Jiraiya. Why do you have
Like his
blessing?
balls, my knife.
Please.
Stab, 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 stab,
You're
stab.
welcome. Have a drink.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Smelling that wine first. Oh, thank Christ, I passed that. I just barely passed that. Oh my god.
A faint hint of cloth grass, a herb that is said to elicit the truth. Jaheira smiles at you knowingly.
Oh.
It doesn't spoil the taste, if that's what you're wondering.
No, but it spoils my... Oh, monk.
Well, consider this an experiment then. Indulge me.
Drink it.
I'll give it a try. My hand is just so chunky. I'm just like, bonk.
Still not quite so sure about you, though. People tend to lose more than just flavor when illithids get their hands on them. I speak from experience. There's an air about you. Something alien.
We left the
And do not
Githyanki
lie.
at camp, so that's not the
Parasite
alien
is
part.
changing you, isn't it? Yeah, the flowing river changes. It's still a river. I am still me. But a river can flood and break its banks. If the parasite changes you, tries to break you, could you resist? Good. I will take your word for it.
I was gonna go with the absolute
And hold you
certainty.
to it, too. I have every reason to be cautious. I've traced people like you. People with parasites in their brains. All the way here from Baldur's Gate.
Oh.
The cult of the Absolute is spreading through the city. Quietly, quickly, and with unsettling deliberation. We tracked them to this ancient village, only to be faced with a man we killed and buried over a century ago.
Okay. Who is
General
he?
Ketheric Thorm. Remember that name. He's the leader of the Absolutists.
Wait, he also appears
He
in
was a
Baldur's Gate
Sharan
2.
once.
Oh, he
Took
does?
to building an army of dark justiciars beneath this very village. Alongside the local druids, we made it our business to see him deposed, dead and buried. But he's returned. Not only does General Ketheric Thorm live again, it seems he is no longer mortal. He has become, in fact, invincible.
Bullshit.
We met him on the road here, commanding an army of the Absolute, intent on destroying Baldur's Gate. I put an arrow through his eye myself, only to watch him pluck it out like a splinter. He healed right in front of me and chased us into the shadows. Things looked hopeless, but experience has taught me that no matter how bleak things look, there's always hope. You are that hope.
Hope is an illusion, one easily shattered. Ideal in action. So tell me, what's the plan?
Protected by your artifact, you can infiltrate his forces at Moonrise Top.
Oh,
Find
is
out
that
what it
so?
that makes him invincible. Once Ketheric is without his shield, the sword. Together, we assault his tower and put a final end to this blight.
You want to make use of my infection. I want to be cured
Any
of it.
cure starts with understanding the disease. Whatever magic Ketheric's using to... Until then, we keep drinking wine when we meet.
How do I reach him? The towers are surrounded by
You're not
shadows.
our only secret weapon. Isobel, a faithful cleric of Selûne, and a light in the darkness. She casts the moonshine without pain. It's the only reason we're still alive. She's upstairs in her chambers. Tell her I sent you, and she'll see you through the shadows safely.
Alrighty. Is there... Alright. We're gonna keep Shadowheart. She's got, like, the really fuck-off awesome mace. Do we want to keep Astarion?
That's up to you.
Let's keep Astarion. Actually, no, let's not, because he kind of irks me on some of the decision-making.
Yeah, because his whole thing is that he'll only approve if you are kind of an ass to people.
And I'd rather not. So let me... Where the fuck did he...
No.
There he is. It would have been nice if we could do the like, thingy-madiggy, but I know
Darling,
you don't like it.
It sounds...
I know that's...
Well, plus it also kind of fucked over after a little while.
It did kind of fuck us over when we had to join back up again after an update. That is true.
Hey, soldier.
By the way, I'm talking to the bull.
Like, I got something back.
Wait, what?
Something I've wanted for a really long time. When I not sure the world's ready for unleashed Karlach, but it's getting it anyway. Thanks to Touch! The world's my fun house.
What the fuck is going on there? Did you read his thoughts?
I read his thoughts.
What is it?
Me too, soldier. Gods me. Copper for your thoughts. Aces.
There we go. Exit out of camp.
I am very worried about what that thing is, and now I may have soiled myself.
Oh my god, what did you do?
Did you not see what I saw?
Not properly. I was in the middle of getting my mom.
Let's just say blood, decay, and a lot of bodies. Let's just say this ox, maybe Carl.
Carl, that kills people.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, are we ready to... I want to talk to the... Get over here.
Get over here!
Get over here! Also, are you not going to use any of the Illithid powers? Like, look at this! Favorable beginnings. The first attack roll or ability check you make against any target gains a bonus equal to your proficiency bonus. Luck of the Realms.
I'm holding out just to see what little, or what having little of the Illithid, powers will do for me.
Nothing. I am pretty certain. We already have the Illithid powers because of this Illithid persuasion. What's a little more? Like, look at this! Psionic Backlash. When an enemy within 9 meters casts a spell, you can use your reaction to inflict a d4 of psychic damage to the caster per the spell levels.
But there's also really nothing here that I want from these.
Did you not just see? Oh, first, like, long rest, change in a successful attack roll into a critical hit, or backlash per... Like, that's per caster level.
Nah, it doesn't really want, excite me. By the way, she's at the other side.
Ooh, Isabel's diary. Ever since I returned, there's been a filth in me. I feel it in my very lungs. I cannot get it out. It will never out. This death that reeks within me. There are some things even the Moon Maiden cannot heal. There are some things she would never accept in her devoted. I should never have come back. Also, where's... Okay, Shadowheart's with us? Cool.
Do you want me to talk to her, or do you want to talk to her?
I'll talk to her. I'll talk to her. All 4 of us are gonna, like, be in the thingy-madiggy, so... Oh my god. She looks like if you could make a goth girl, like, light dominion. Wait. That's... I thought we were... Why did I think we were underground? We're not underground, are we?
No.
Okay. I was like, wait, why is the moon with us? I was so confused by the moon. Somehow I thought we didn't have the moon here.
I didn't realize I had an audience. The true soul who's going to save us all. I'm Isabel. Pleased to meet you.
Hi. And you, I've heard you're the protector of this inn, the banisher of shadows.
Myself
Nico,
and
thank you for
Our
the
Lady
follow.
are doing what we can to hold the line.
Aww.
I hear you and your tadpole will be our offense. Free from the Absolute's influence, yet able to walk among cultists. It's almost too good to be true. But I'd be a poor cleric indeed not to avail of a blessing when I see one. Let me guess. Jaheira sent you to beg a protection spell off her favorite cleric.
You're her favorite? Nice!
That was easy.
That was easy. Like, holy shit.
Perfect.
Man, why can't Shadowheart do this?
The lesser effects of the Shadow Curse, which will get you closer to the towers. But there are places it won't help. Places where the curse is darker, stronger.
Rightio.
The cultists are able to traverse even the deepest shadows, though. I don't know how.
I think we need to find the cure for this before we go to the Moonlight Tower. Otherwise, we lose Halson.
Fair enough.
Ketherick is a frightening man, but you have something he doesn't. Allies worth having.
Yeah.
While you're busy in the towers,
I got code with me.
Wait.
Yeah.
Do you hear that? Something's wrong.
Oh no, what did we do? Did we advance something?
That dude. The Flaming Fist Marcus.
Isabel.
And his dye job is fucked up.
What's happened to you?
Oh, I
I've
think
been
we did
blessed.
something in the wrong order.
You can be too. Come with me, and you can hear all about it from Ketherick himself.
Those who walk a tranquil path want for nothing. Keep your blessing.
You have not known tranquility until you have felt the Absolute's embrace. That I can promise you.
The Absolute. Of course. You can't believe them, Marcus. Ketherick will never give you whatever it is you've been promised.
He already has.
Those are some very bony wings. I don't know if that's worthwhile.
Oh yeah, we done fucked up.
How bad of a fucked up is this?
The fact that if everyone the fact that everyone's gonna die here, and we lose access to a lot of the quests later on.
Okay. So make sure no one dies. Oh, okay, well, they're dead.
We might want to F8.
Guide my hand.
Come along, Isabel.
There. Okay. Give me a second. Nice.
Because the thing is, the guy in the bed that we need to heal in order to find the kid dies.
Just make sure he doesn't die. It'll be easy, alright? Yep, cool. Alrighty, Flurry of Bows will be 1d6 plus 1d4, 1d6 plus 1d4, or using a d8, d4, d4. Oh, this is a much better idea. That's a
Oh, hello,
60.
Ginger Fox. How you doing?
You need 17 to roll. You rolled 27. I had 9 bonuses. Do not react. I'll do the normal hit. And then I'll do a topple. You need 17. You rolled a 19. I'm gonna make that a critical. There we go. And then flurry of blows. Yeah. Alrighty. Do you have any? Are you gonna do anything else?
No, I've ended my turn.
Oh, okay. Alright, where is...
Also, your
time to push my luck.
Karlach's outside, by the way.
That's fine. That's
also, you know they just killed Mole, right?
No, they took Mole. They just grabbed her and fucked off. Alrighty. Swap to an axe, because that was a silly move on my part. Shove. Nice. I should have had her swap to her melee weapon, so that wasn't a problem. Come on, fall. Oh, he didn't fall off the ice. Alrighty, and then Isobel is... How did you miss? He's prone.
Also, if she dies, that drops the barrier, by the way.
Okay, then we're not gonna have her die. Just... See? Critical miss. Nice. So he's dead. Oh, Halsin's here! Who's controlling Halsin?
He's controlling himself.
Ah, okay. Did we speak to the council? Did we speak to Floric? Oh, what a waste. We have so, like, they are stuck in this room. There we go. Okay, use the fucking do the massive spell. The super sunlight death beam.
Yeah, but that could hurt her as well.
Really? Is it just aim it so it doesn't? Okay. That's cool. What does that do? Momentum. Hey, nice. And nearby enemies take 3 to 24 points of damage per turn. Radiant. Their movement speed is half. Casters can't become invisible. Ah, okay. Oop. Where's the... Sorry, there's a fly buzzing around again in my room.
Not the fly.
It's annoying, I can tell you that much. Alright, hopefully... Is that guy still being affected? Because... I think we're gonna do alright.
Your penance will be paid now.
Oh, the ice effect. She fell over. Oh, he's back up. That was fast. Nice. Alrighty, nice. Alright, I am going to do Stunning Strike. There we go. He no longer doing Searing Smite, and he is stunned. What are you gonna do it to? Nice. Actually, he's gonna be stunned, so I'm gonna go and deal with... Not enough action? No, hang on. Flurry of Blows. I'm gonna go for...
I'd deal with him now. Better to deal with him now than later.
He's stunned for a turn.
Yeah, but how do we know that not killing him might not remove all of them?
He just called them. He didn't summon them.
Okay.
Besides, like, I thought, like, I'm more interested in, like, you know, dealing with the demons that are all around. I'm gonna drop her down to help deal with,
Have you given her Feather Fall?
I have not given her Feather Fall. Look, she's a barbarian. She can actually hang on a second. Is already active. All right, so that's a bonus action. Jump is a bonus action as well. God damn it. Items. Does she have a speed thing?
Yeah, I have a potion. I have a
grease. All right, so she doesn't.
I have potions of flying.
But it's not your turn, so you... Hang on a second.
She can take it from my inventory.
No, actually, what she needs is... What she needs is a potion of speed.
Which I also have.
Which I also have. Where is it? 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 Potions. Alright. Ding. Sharpness, Drow, Bark, Dark Vision. Where? Featherfall? Flying? Where is my potion? Oh, okay, never mind.
Still on my feet.
Items. Oh, it was a bonus action. God damn it. That's not what I wanted. Oh my goodness. Alright, that's 32. Alright, let me deal with you.
Down the hatch.
Because you're closer to everything. Next turn, she'll do the jump. Alright. Harper Lynn is doing something. Isobel is doing something. But yeah, he's stunned for one turn. We'll be fine.
Nope, now he dead.
Don't forget to loot him.
Yeah, once we're done with all of these.
Alright. Oh, she got hit. Oh, the Harbor Boys got rage. Nice. Miss. That's not great. What you doing, Daddy Halson? Okay, looks like his, oh. What's he gonna hit? What terrible. He ain't a daddy. He brain dead. Look.
Hey, are you picking on my daddy?
Did you see what he spent his move doing?
Oh, you pick on my daddy.
Did you see what he did? Oh, hey.
You pick on my daddy.
Art is blessed now. And then Shadowheart is doing her thing. So there's the winged horror down there, who is now dead. And there's a winged horror over there.
So first things first.
Heal up, Ooh, that was cool. You're doing all kinds of cool spells, aren't you? Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Nice! Tight.
Like a buttock.
Like a glove. Oh, we're gonna absolutely decimate this winged horror next. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different peeps who can deal with them if they can get to it. Okay, maybe not that many peeps. Never mind. Oh! The Constitution saving throw must have been the thing that would help keep people, like, knocked out and such, because impaled. A ghoul's spike prevents this creature from moving. They're all, like, knocked out and such. Jump. And then, here we go.
No time for mercy.
Yeah, I can't hit it from here, so...
No need to. It's dead.
There's a parasite in that corpse, brimming with potent magic.
Nice. Jump.
Great
Isabel,
club.
are
I'll
you
give
all
the
right?
Carlac.
I'm fine.
Yay!
Ring of
Marcus has been with us since
shifting
the start.
corporeous ring.
They've been tracking us this whole time.
Invisibility and blur.
And
that could be a good one
no
for you
random
or
attack.
for
You were the target, Isabel. They know how
go for it.
important you are, but they don't know about you. Ketheric will strike again. We need you to strike first. Discover the source of his invulnerability. Make him mortal so we can make him bleed.
Nice.
Good luck.
And
more danger than I knew.
We're gonna need to wrap this up.
Everyone in this inn is dead. Like that.
Why target you?
Pull the right brick, and the whole tower goes tumbling down. Seluna gave me the power to protect this place. But I can't keep it up forever. Such magic. It's draining.
Ooh.
Soon I'll be dry. Without me, Harper's flaming fist, everyone intent on stopping Ketheric is dead. But now that we have you, perhaps we have a chance.
Could be good.
No mercy. For Ketheric will have none on you. End this.
Something the matter?
What do you know of him? Oh, you could have asked her about
catch
that.
a break.
I wasn't trying to ask her. I was trying to.
You'll have to wait. I can't talk right now.
I love how Fistmark is
Something the
apparently like, oh, it's stealing.
Difficult to say. A fellow servant of the Night Singer would surely be an ally to me under most circumstances. But something doesn't add up. I'll need to see where his allegiances truly lie.
Cool. Alright. Medium, that does 15. I'll pick up the torch and a candle. Nice. Well, the good news is everyone that is around here is still alive. The bad news is Mole got taken, so that's not great.
Yeah, they took our mole.
Oh, Althea, how's she gonna be handling this? She was knocked out earlier.
First, cultists nearly murder us, and now we have a traitor on the inside. Can't we trust anyone?
Actually, I wonder what Halson says about this.
Just focus on getting through this.
Easier said than done. That flaming fist seemed kind. I keep...
Nope, okay. Do you want to call it since it's it's been about 3 hours now?
Oh my god, can I not? Hang on. Do I need Karlach to, like, read this book? Can't reach. Are you kidding me?
Har, you can't reach.
That is dumb. Alright. But, yeah, we'll need to call it here.
I sold a pair of boots to that
We'll need to end it here, so... There's only trading and such like that going off in the background, so... Chat, you don't have to worry about seeing all of that. We'll I'll save
I'm
it...
done with that.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll save it here. So then that way it's available for us next time. New save.
So I think our first thing before we go to the Moonlight Tower is to try and lift the curse first. I think that's going to be our main port of call.
Uh-huh, okay.
Because if we can lift the curse, we don't have to worry about it.
That's a fair assessment.
And the only way to lift the curse is with the little boy. So we need to get whatever it is that's going to heal the big dude to find out where the little dude is so we can then get the big dude to join our party and then I can have sex. I mean, what?
Kind of makes sense, I guess. All right, first question. Are you going to be streaming for a little bit longer, Code?
I am going to be streaming for a little bit longer.
Alrighty then. Well, how about I have my viewers raid into you, so then that way... Hey, they're able to follow along in your next thingamadig.
That'd be great, because I'm going to be doing some Final Fantasy 14 for a little while.
Oh, that's awesome. Alrighty then. Alrighty, gang. We're gonna go raid into. Hopefully, will it let me raid into Code the Yoshi? Let's see.
I don't know. I mean, that guy's known to be quite an asshole.
Well, so yes, I'll let you guys go over to Code the Yoshi tonight. There isn't a stream tomorrow, but Saturday morning there is a charity stream with Stack Up, a charity for that is meant to be being about mental health and suicide prevention for veterans of U.S. and NATO-aligned countries. So, I hope to see some of you there and help me in trying to get some donations and what have you. There will be different incentives. But otherwise, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. Code, it was great playing a little more Baldur's Gate with you this week. We'll need a...
Yeah, I think we definitely got a good way through this time around.
Yeah, we did a pretty decent length. And I'll let my viewers go over to you and see what happens when I say raid now. Bam.
Just bring them over to the dark side.
The dark side.